Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. NHL's trade deadline is today at 3. Earlier this morning, and I mean way earlier, the Blue Jackets acquired forward Connor Garland from the Vancouver Canucks in exchange for a third-round pick in 2026 and a second-rounder in 28. The 29-year-old Garland has 7 goals and 19 assists on the season. The Blue Jackets pushed their win streak to 3 games with a 4-2 win over the Panthers last night at Nationwide. Boone Jenner found the back of the net after missing time with a lower body injury. No Zach Werenski for the third straight game. He's battling illness and will likely be a game-time decision Saturday when the Blue Jackets host the Utah Mammoth. CBJ are 1 point back of Boston for that final wildcard spot in the East. In college hoops, the 11th-ranked Ohio State women's squad has Minnesota today at 2:30 in the quarterfinals of the Big Ten tournament in Indianapolis. This update is sponsored by Uber Eats. Uber Eats is a great deal waiting for you at Scramblers from now until March 31st. Get a buy one, get one free deal on the Manhandler skillet on the app. Terms apply.
Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
Talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lesmerises joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then
it's a rundown.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only 2 guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
Yeah, you heard the big voice guys say it, and you hear it often on this program, act accordingly. And when the world's strongest man is in attendance, for the Blue Jackets, there's only one thing to do, and that's to put the Florida Panthers into the Hall of Pain. Mission accomplished last night. You heard it there in the update, 4-2 for the Blue Jackets to make it 3 straight wins. For the Panthers, it's 4 straight losses as the NHL's trade deadline looms today at 3 o'clock. And then at midnight, again, as you heard in the update, the Jackets made a deal acquiring a centerman from the Vancouver Canucks. So we have a lot to get to on today's program, kind of drinking from a fire hose on this Friday edition. Eric Reeser, Ryan Baker, Isaiah Jacob with us, as well as Bo and his boy head to the Fog for Kansas State tomorrow. It's going to be nuts on the hardwood this weekend. It was nuts on the ice last night. The next 48 to 72 hours for the Blue Jackets are going to be nuts. But Ryan Baker, you had mentioned with T-Bone and Tyvis that last night was one of the most consequential, in a good way, singular nights for the Blue Jackets in their 25-year history.
And maybe that's a little sad to say.
I love it, though.
Where the franchise history has been. But it was a huge night for the Blue Jackets. The 3 teams directly ahead of you in the standings, in the Metro and in the wild card. The Bruins, who you're now 1 point behind in that wild card spot. The Islanders and the Penguins, who you are 3 points behind now in your own division, the Metro. They all lose last night, and they lose in regulation. One of the teams chasing you, the Philadelphia Flyers, they lose in regulation. You hang on. The goaltender interference gods went your way.
You hang on.
At the end of the game, you hang on. You beat the Florida Panthers without Zach Werenski, without Dante Fabro, without Mason Marchment. Knock on wood, we get good news on him this morning for the final 25 minutes of that game as he left late in the second period. You find a way, you get the 2 points, you win, and I guess it's not the same night because it happened after midnight.
Yeah, I got the email at 12:20.
Yeah, it was technically this morning, but the Blue Jackets make a trade. It was not, Reese, it was not the Vancouver Canucks winger that I have been stumping for and Brock Besser, but you get Connor Garland, who is a guy who is going to add versatility to your lineup. At his best, he is a top 6 winger. At his worst, he's a middle 9, right? He's a guy you play on your third line. He's a guy that plays hard all the time, is a little undersized, but kind of an agitator. And when he plays a full season, when he plays like 82 games a year, he's about a 40 to 50 point guy that can get you right around 20 goals in a season. So a nice move for the Blue Jackets last night in what turns out to be a heck of a night.
And the Athletic said the Blue Jackets made savvy move in getting Connor Garland from the Canucks. Aaron Portzline of the Athletic is going to join us at 9:30. We've also got some news in the college ranks. They're going to try to save college sports today at the White House at about 4 o'clock. Ohio State's gearing up for spring ball. That'll start on Monday. Tim May's going to join at 10:30. Doug Lesmerises, as he always does, Friday at 11:30. We'll do what we learned this week at 11, but we are drinking from a fire hose. So we've learned a lot in the last 4 days, and we're going to continue to learn more as we kind of careen towards a 3 o'clock trade deadline. And that Connor Garland news makes me feel good about the Blue Jackets and their plans for this moving forward. But I had mentioned last night with Mark Henry, the world's strongest man, was the cannoneer last night at Nationwide. And, of course, Mark Henry won the first Arnold Strongman Classic back in 2002. It is one of the most wonderful times of the year in this city, the Arnold Sports Classic. So welcome to all you strong men and women out there. And hopefully, if you are listening for the next 3 hours, we can entertain you
a lot
little
of
bit.
Testosterone running through the city this
I'll tell you
weekend.
what, Baker, you've got the Jackets and the Mammoth on Saturday, and it does sound like Garland's going to make his debut as a Massachusetts native, and this is from Aaron Portzline. No immigration issues. So not going to have to worry about anything in the visa realm for Garland Saturday night against the Utah Mammoth. Jackets will look to make it four in a row, but the Columbus Crew open things at Scott's Miracle Grow Field Saturday night, the Arnold Classics this weekend, and Bruce Thornton's getting honored for senior night at the Schottenstein Center tomorrow at 5:30 against Indiana. And a very bubblicious game for both teams. Indiana needs to have this to stay on the bubble. The Buckeyes can bolster their tournament resume with a win tomorrow at the Schottenstein Center. First 2,000 fans, I think, get a Bruce Thornton bobblehead. So that plus OHSAA districts for boys and girls basketball. I think, Baker, you've got
I think you've got semifinals for girls coming up this weekend.
that in the state realm.
Or not semifinals, excuse me, regional finals to get to state championships.
I can never keep up with the vernacular there of regionals, sectionals, districts.
It's
So
a lot.
bear with me on that. But you've got OHSAA hockey action coming up pretty soon, don't you?
Well, I mean, all of it. You've got basketball the next 2 weekends at state tournament over in Dayton. So I will be there for the start of the girls tournament next weekend. Then I have to come back to Columbus for the state hockey tournament on Saturday and Sunday, which is nationwide. And then a full 4 days in a row out in Dayton at UD Arena for the boys tournament the following week. A lot of stuff. And Reese, you're talking about all this stuff. We have in college basketball today, man, Jacob Reimer's going to be so happy, 25 conference tournament games on the slate today from noon until midnight, and the Battle of the Bricks tonight.
Miami goes for 31-0, looking for that unblemished, perfect season. The fourth, I think, in Division I in the last 25 years. They're looking for it in Athens, Ohio, after 8 p.m. on a Friday.
Now, normally, if I was on the other side, I would play that you're rooting for Miami of Ohio.
Well,
but I'm guessing you're not rooting for Miami of Ohio.
my interests will be with the Bobcats, obviously. However, OU lost to UMass earlier in the week, and UMass is 500 on this. Well, now no longer 500 on the season. I think the Bobcats are going to be struggling to stay at 500. The Miami Redhawks only looking to make some history and to, I'd say, solidify their argument for the NCAA tournament, despite what happens in Cleveland next week for the Mid-American Conference tournament.
And if you're the Miami Redhawks, you've made it.
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith is talking about you this morning.
He says it's insane.
Stephen A.
That there
Smith
could be
is
any
talking about
argument to leave Miami out of the tournament, regardless of what they do in Cleveland next week.
He did not say that nearly as calm as you just did.
No, he screamed it. I'm not at screaming level yet. We'll see.
Maybe tonight,
We'll
watching
see
the
as
game.
the show goes on.
Sure you don't want to go to Athens tonight?
I am 100% positive I do not want to go to Athens Friday night at 9 o'clock. I've got to wrangle Jeff Thidoff tomorrow for the Saturday Spectacular, and I've got to try to keep my energy up for everything that's going on this weekend. So Athens isn't in the cards. It was going to be a plan if that game, because it was, I think, a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, where they had the finale as a 2 o'clock tip from the Convocation Center.
God, that would have been
That was on the schedule, because I get out of here right at noon, right even before the update fires for noon and Rothman and Ice. So as Denzel is saying, we in the office, boys, I'm in my car. And that would have been the plan again today, but going to Athens.
Man.
Not the case.
You got the Lady Bucks today, too, in the Big Ten
Quarterfinals of the Big Ten tournament.
2:30.
Tyler Danberg's going to have the call of Ohio State and Minnesota over on the Fan 2, and you're going to get coverage starting at 2:10. That's 1460 on the AM dial. So a lot to get to. Glad you are rolling along with us on this program. And yeah, today at 4 o'clock, they're just going to try to save college sports at the White House because, nothing else is going on. We'll discuss that next. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Family owned and operated. It isn't all sunshine and rainbows. This is Dennis Sullivan, president of Care Heating and Cooling. Here's something you don't hear admitted very often. When you run a business with your family, you don't always get along with them. We argue, we debate, we have real conversations about the decisions that we make. But at Care, every conversation comes back to our priorities, doing right by our employees and our customers. Because when you treat your team like family, they take better care of the families they serve. And when you treat your customers the way you want your own family treated, trust follows. That mindset doesn't always maximize short-term profits, but it builds something better, long-term relationships. Today, more and more local companies are being bought by venture capital firms, where maximizing profits often leads to a sales-first mentality. Care is still family-owned and locally operated, so we can keep people, not profits, at the center of every decision. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING when you need a company you can trust.
Fall is a season of change, and Hinderer Motor Company is turning over a new leaf with big savings. This is Justin Hinderer. Right now, any one of our participating locations is paying up to $3,500 over Kelley Blue Book value. That's right. Drive in your current vehicle and leaf with one of ours today. Don't wait. The leaves are falling and so are the prices. At Hinderer Motor Company, we love what moves you.
Enjoy more ways to save at Kroger, like low prices in every aisle. And you can clip and save more with digital coupons in the Kroger app. Plus, you can earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. So it's always easy to save big. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply. See site for details.
Save on 12-pack cans of Coca-Cola or 6-packs of Pepsi or Pure Leaf Tea. Select varieties or buy 3, get 3 free with your card. Limit 12. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Thanks to your support, the nonprofits VetTix and First Tix have given away tens of millions of tickets and counting to vets currently serving military, the immediate family of troops killed in action, and our brave current and former first responders. These tickets are a meaningful way to say thank you to America's heroes. And now we want you to be part of the mission. Got extra tickets to concerts, games, or special events? Or want to see if you qualify? We want you to go to vettix.org and firsttix.org today. Give something to those who gave.
At Newman Roofing, we believe every detail matters, which is why we have over 1,000 5-star Google reviews from families all across Central Ohio who have put their trust in Newman Roofing for their roofing, siding, and gutter projects. Call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit newmanroofing.com today.
T-Bone and Tybus is sponsored by Capital Ford of Columbus.
Tybus, great explorers looked at like mountains and were like, look at that mountain. Someone needs to summit it. That's how I look at that box of fries. Someone needs to conquer that, and that someone is me.
Mornings on The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Spring can be a tricky season weather-wise, but new windows from Window Nation can keep your home comfortable no matter what's going on outside. Plus, in March, the more you buy, the more you can save. Up to 50% off all window styles. Visit windownation.com for your free consultation today.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Springtime is here, and you know what that means. It's time for Mulch Madness. Did you know that too much mulch is bad for trees and shrubs? 2 inches of mulch is plenty. Any more and you risk causing roots to grow up and around trunks, which increases unhealthy stress, shortens tree life, and even keeps moisture from getting down to tree roots. To find out more about Mulch Madness, or to find a certified arborist near you, visit treesforohio.org. That's trees, the number 4, ohio.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Partly sunny skies and highs soaring into the mid-70s. We do have an isolated chance of showers and thunderstorms, though, in the afternoon. Otherwise, we remain mainly dry as we go into tonight. Partly cloudy skies, breezy winds, and lows in the 60s. Saturday, we do have a chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon with breezy winds, some which could be on the stronger side. Otherwise, we'll have partly cloudy skies and highs in the mid to low 70s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 weather impact forecast.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Our top men are working on everything except this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
Yeah, no top men here today. Just Eric Reeser, Ryan Baker, and Isaiah behind the glass. Bo and his kid are headed to Lawrence, Kansas for the Jayhawks finale against Kansas State. The Fog Allen Fieldhouse is, I think, a bucket list for most college hoops fans.
That's going to be a heck of a trip. I have been inside of Fog Allen Fieldhouse and toured the museum there, but I have never been there for a basketball game. I was very bummed when I was out that way in December that they did not have any home games while I was out there. They were on the road right then because that was definitely something that we were going to be happen. But with my best friend living out in Kansas City, that is definitely happening in the not too distant future.
You get to watch Kansas State. You get to watch Darren Peterson. Is probably the cherry on top of all of that, and what is, for college hoops fans, again, a bucket list trip, and what's going to be an incredible weekend of basketball is now we're in it, kids. We're in March.
They get to see Darren Peterson
for a couple minutes.
He hadn't been out. He hasn't done any load management here in a while.
Load managing yet
since it got called out.
Right.
But
hard to say that couldn't change. You know,
you never know.
A moment's notice.
The Big 12 tournament, is that next weekend? Are they doing it at Jerry's World with the hologram?
Wherever the crazy court is.
Yeah. That's, I mean, he got called out by NBA scouts. I think whoever got to Darren Peterson's people and said, he got to play. If he's 60, 70, 80%, he's got to play in these games. And so far, so good, no load managing. I think Kansas, though, they've lost their last 2, 3 of their last 4. So the Kansas State finale Saturday at 2 o'clock. Again, Aaron Portzline's coming on in about 12 minutes. We'll discuss the Jackets' big move and what's been a 3-game win streak for the CBJ. They are 1 point out of a wild card spot, kind of where Connor Garland fits into all of this as the Jackets get ready to host the Mammoth on Saturday.
It's going to be interesting to see when fully healthy, because we don't know about Mason Marchment right now as he left last night's game late in the second period. It's going to be interesting to see who comes out of the lineup right now, because a lot of guys are playing well.
To the point that Don Waddell made this time last year is you didn't want to upset the room if things were going well. And to his great credit, I think they've realized that while you can't do that, there needed to be additions to this team. You talked about Marchment earlier on in the season, the Garland move at midnight last night, whatever else could happen between now and the 3 o'clock deadline to make this team better, but also keep the chemistry in the room. If you get Zach Werenski back for tomorrow, that's also a thing we'll throw at Porty, because I guess they want him to be 100%, but in March, who really is 100% in the National Hockey League?
Yeah, I feel like that's just lip service. When he says and he's feeling well enough to go, he's going, whether that's a 75% Zach Werenski, an 80% Zach Werenski, right. He's going into the lineup.
But at 4 o'clock today, you're going to have some of the luminaries of college athletics meet at the White House. The president is going to sign an executive order to save college sports. Heather Dinich confirmed this on Thursday. The White House officially confirmed the president's roundtable 4 o'clock today about the future of college athletics. Sources say the Power 4 conference commissioners are expected to attend, and dozens of celebrities and dignitaries were also invited, along with athletic directors, university presidents, and Pete Bavacqua from Notre Dame.
Because you can't have a meeting without Pete.
You got to have Notre Dame present if you're going to do anything transformative in college athletics. And yes, ignore everything else going on in the world right now. Do the 4 o'clock Friday meeting to get a photo op. I mean, we talked with Paul Feinbaum yesterday, and really when we've had Paul on for the last couple of weeks, this has been discussed, this meeting. There's another congressional hearing set up in the next week where they're going to try to ask the government, please help us corral all of these issues. And the only people I think that could make a difference in this are the coaches. But no active head coaches were reportedly invited to this roundtable. And so without the coaches, do you have really, without active coaches, I should say, because Nick Saban's going to be there, Urban Meyer's going to be there, I think Tim Tebow's going to be there. And while they are great ambassadors for the sport, while they have a great voice and they have great influence in college athletics, they're not really in the mud with everybody else. Like, if you want to make change, Kirby Smart, Ryan Day, Dabo Sweeney, those are the guys I want to hear from, and those are the opinions that I care about right now because they're doing this every day. Fortunately for Buckeye fans, Ryan Day's focused on spring ball Monday.
Well, I don't know about current coaches, and I think you and I disagree on this a little bit.
Sure.
Because you have coaches like Nate Oates who are like, well, this is wrong, but everybody else is doing it. So I think the change is at the university level with the presidents, with the athletic directors, where they have to say, here are the rules for you coaches. Now you work within the rules. And we know there's always going to be people trying to skirt the rules. The old, if you're not cheating, you're not trying type mindset. But the coaches are just going to do whatever they're allowed to do, whether it's right, wrong, indifferent for the sport. So I do think the change has to come from above the coaches, where they have to put down rules and guidelines, and this is the path, this is the lane you need to stay in and work in. And I'm sure that these university presidents and these athletic directors and these conference commissioners, I'm sure they've heard, I would hope, they've heard the concerns of their coaches and talked to them and tried to see their problems, and not just the Ryan Days of the world and the Dabo Sweeneys and the Kirby Smarts. I'm hoping they're talking to the Justin Hares as well, and the Karan Kumars and the littler sports, where they're just getting trampled with all of this because we just make rules and guidelines for football.
Don't you think, too, it's kind of interesting because the coach had to play both sides of it. Like, some coaches, for portions of this that people don't like, they're getting benefits from it. Like, some of the smaller schools, like we saw Indiana, if all this crazy college football transfer portal chaos doesn't happen, Indiana would still be the team that we knew 3 years ago. They benefited greatly from the transfer portal. Kurt Signetti took advantage of it greatly. There's things that Ryan Day probably likes about the transfer portal. There's things that Dabo Sweeney probably hates about the transfer portal. Same thing with all of this. The schedule, they probably all can disagree on, but they kind of have to play both sides, where some of the smaller schools see this as an opportunity where they can close the gap, where some of the bigger schools see that the schedule's off. So I can see where the coaches could be for it, but also against it.
Sure. But to have the conversation, it needs to include people who are currently involved with the sport. And yes, the conference commissioners are there, but are Tony Petitti and Greg Sankey really worried about saving college athletics, or are they more worried about getting an expanded college football playoff?
Well,
because saving college athletics wouldn't make them money, especially Tony Petitti.
Tony Petitti, I think we've realized, is all about more inventory and content.
Inventory and content.
And this, Reese, this is exactly why I have always complained, and I hate the government being involved in sports, because we all love sports, right? We love sports, and a lot of us, sports is number one in our life, right there behind our family. But I'm pretty sure every day the government has more important issues to worry about, especially right now.
Yeah.
So maybe the government should be like, you know what, college sports, you're great. You're awesome. You can take a back seat right now.
And 4 o'clock on a Friday, are we really trying to attend?
I mean, those are always getaway meetings,
and do
right?
meetings there.
Does anything ever get done at a 4 o'clock on Friday meeting?
No, this screams photo op. This screams kicking the can down the road, or they'll title it as more conversation needs to be had. They'll say it's a productive meeting. They'll get the photo ops. It'll look fine, but nothing's actually going to be done. For Ohio State, Buckeyes are hoping to get a lot done in the spring in a return trip to the Big Ten championship next season, and a return to the college football playoff. They're starting spring ball Monday, be the first of, I think, 15 spring practices over a couple of weeks that'll culminate in that spring game on April 18th. Monday, you'll get Ryan Day meeting with the media after practice around 11 o'clock. And then on Thursday's practice, so it'll be the second practice of the spring next Thursday, because I think it's March 16th. Ohio State's getting away for spring break. Julian Sayin and Kenyatta Jackson are going to be speaking after the Buckeyes practice next Thursday. And we'll carry Ryan Day's press conference when he hits the podium around 11 o'clock Monday. But I'm really interested to hear from Julian Sayin. I'm also interested to hear from Kenyatta Jackson. With this spring and going into the fall, those are two of your leaders. For Julian, it's a chance for him to not have to worry about a quarterback competition and really be the true alpha that this football team needs, a la what Will Howard was to the Buckeyes when they made their run to the national championship.
Yeah, I would be interested to hear what Julian Sayin has to say, but he never really says anything.
I'm interested to see how that evolves.
He doesn't elaborate. Well, if it's anything with what we saw with Dom on the Buckeye Cruise, it hasn't evolved very much.
No.
But it is different, the contrast in the two quarterbacks you've had here at Ohio State recently, where Will Howard could sit and talk with you. You could ask him 3 questions and he could talk for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Where Julian Sayin, it's very different. Now, he was also first time doing this last year. Still a young kid, maybe just not the most talkative type of person, but spring practice is going to be, I would say, different for Ohio State this year because your top two running backs aren't going to be there as they're dealing with some shoulder things. And I don't know how much Julian Sayin you really need to see in spring practice, maybe to get him on the same page a little bit with Devin McCune,
sure,
and a Chris Henry. I don't know, is Chris Henry Jr. is he even here yet? I would think
TBD
he is
for Monday.
I would think he is here and will be participating in some spring practices. But some of the newer receivers. But I think really the story is going to be on the defensive side of the ball and who kind of shows out to step up and take some of those roles that we've had. Caleb Downs.
The second year we're going to be asking about all of these guys going to the NFL on the defensive side of the ball. Who's going to step up and be the leader for the Silver Bullets? Will it come from one of the transfer portal guys? Will it come from Kenyatta Jackson, Jermaine Matthews? I'm interested for the springness of this all because it's a chance for Kenyatta and for Julian to practice getting reps as the leader of their respective units. Not so much the X's and O's of this, because you're bringing in Arthur Smith, and so everybody's going to be, over the next couple of weeks, really just getting to know each other on the football field. Not that they haven't had meetings and, they haven't had team-building exercises or what have you before actually getting onto the football field, but now it becomes a little bit more, you ramp up to an install or whatever it's going to look like with Arthur Smith and this new Ohio State offense. But for me and Julian and everything that you had mentioned about how little he will say, more is going to be expected of him as the quarterback at The Ohio State University. The Blue Jackets have played so well, we have so much more to expect from them. But what can we expect as the NHL's trade deadline looms 3 o'clock today? Aaron Portzline of The Athletic is going to join us in 2 minutes. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
Get your car ready for spring adventures. This month at your local AAA Tire and Auto Service location, buy 3 select tires and get 1 free. And on the plus side, AAA members save more. Offer ends March 31st. See store for details.
It's March. Send it in, big fella. That means the greatest sports weekend of the year is coming, and the best place to set the puppies and watch the tournament is at Hollywood Casino Columbus. I'm Scotty Vegas, and Thursday through Sunday opening weekend, kiss the kids goodbye and hang out from noon to 5 with the Fan at the Hollywood Casino Sportsbook. A Bill Raftery impersonation contest, free throw games, free shirts, and more. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966. Onions!
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, you may be in big trouble with Chip Wood.
Our owner?
Free oil changes along with alignment?
On any 4-tire purchase.
And Goodyear's up to $160 off?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike, but I'm telling.
But the Wood family is behind all this.
Oh, those rascals.
But don't tell the accountants.
Of course not. And what do they do again? Buy any set of 4 tires at Tire Discounters and get a free alignment and oil change. Make them Goodyear's and save up to $160 more. See store for details.
Take your shot to save at Great Lakes Hyundai in Columbus or Dublin. Make a basket for extra savings on top of big shot deals on every model from Elantra to Palisade. Go now, Dublin or Columbus or glakeshyundai.com. See dealer for details. Ends 3/31.
As a teacher or coach, do you ever feel overwhelmed supporting kids' mental health?
Teachers need tons of help.
I had never experienced players being so down that they can't even participate.
It's so important that we are constantly educating ourselves.
It's the same as the CPR class to me. We're trying to save a life here.
The Kids Mental Health Foundation has free tools and information developed by experts. Scan the QR code or check out kidsmentalhealthfoundation.org to get started.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
What's up on a Friday? The Columbus Blue Jackets, your CBJ, are one of the hottest teams in the National Hockey League. They made it 3 straight last night with a 4-2 win over the Florida Panthers. They knocked Florida to their 4th straight loss. So 2 teams going in different directions, but 2 teams that could be very busy, that have been busy before the trade deadline, and it could be even busier as we get to 3 o'clock Eastern this afternoon. We go out now to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline and talk with a man who's, I can't imagine how busy he's been over the last 24 and how much busier he'll be over the next 48. Aaron Portzline, who covers the Blue Jackets for The Athletic. Aaron, thanks so much for giving us the time this morning. So it was about midnight when the Connor Garland news came out. What did you make of the Jackets acquiring him from Vancouver, and do you expect anything more from the CBJ before 3 o'clock?
Yeah, so first to Garland, I mean, I think you should see him as a really good secondary scorer, a guy that's typically been between 18 and 22 goals a year. Having a down year this year, certainly. It's been a rough year in Vancouver. I think he helps them in a lot of different ways. I think he gives them a lot of different variables up front. They've struggled all year with that second line to have consistent production from that second line. My hunch, and we'll see how they come out Saturday against Utah, they're not practicing today, is that Garland will initially play with Monahan on that second line. But there's a lot of fluidity up there with those top 2 lines, I think, still. I think he's going to help on the power play, too, where they've been playing Damon Severson, defenseman, on the second unit because he's a right shot, and Garland is a right shot. They add that to the mix. So I think probably their power play gets a step up as well. He's an energy guy, a playmaker. I think there's a boost there. He's not an elite offensive talent, certainly, but this is a help. As for further moves, I think Don Waddell is still very much looking for things. I don't know that it's going to be top 6 talent like Garland. It's not going to be guys with 6 years term probably like Garland. But I've said this for a while now. I think Nick Foligno back to the Blue Jackets, I should say, makes a ton of sense. He's going to be on the move from Chicago today. The Blue Jackets can easily handle his salary cap. His money is not a big issue now because so much of it was signing bonuses. I think it makes sense. It's leadership, right? It's grit. Look how the Stanley Cup is played. If you're fortunate enough to get past the first and second rounds, it gets brutal, absolutely brutally physical, and you need all the depth you can get. So I do think that Don Waddell's still working. I think he's probably going to be working until 2:59:59, and if history repeats itself, if a Foligno trade happens, it might very well be at 2:59:59 because that's how it tends to be.
Porter, you mentioned you think Garland would go in on that second line and play with Monahan. When they made the addition, I like the addition. Who comes out of the lineup, though, right now? Because there's a lot of guys that are playing well.
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's a good problem. I mean, Kent Johnson's had 2 really good games here, right? I think this probably moves Boone Jenner lower in the lineup, but you could also look at Garland and Kent Johnson they're not the same players, but in terms of playmaking, they'd be a bit redundant on the same line. One other thing to watch here, we don't have an update on Mason Marchment yet. I don't know how serious that was. This Garland trade was not made as a response to Marchment's injury. He did not play in the third period last night. But they could need a body in that top 6 if Marchment misses a few games, however long he's out. There's room there. So if you look at it this way, and I've been thinking about this, the Blue Jackets do not have an elite offensive talent. Marchenko flirts with that. I don't think people around the league would think of him as an elite offensive talent. The approach they're taking here is they want to have 3 lines that can score. Again, not monstrously, but consistently. They love the Coyle line. They're happy with the top line, however that looks, with Fantilli, Marchenko, and right now Marchment. They got to get a second line in there. If they're going to beat people with depth of scoring and be a difficult team to check, that line has to get going somehow, some way.
Since the return from the Olympic break, Aaron. So far, so okay. Three of the 5 have been wins for the Blue Jackets. Last night, it still kind of irks me, the first goal from the Predators that they reviewed, and it felt like Greaves had the puck, but they just kept shoving him back towards the goal. But they got a review to go their way last night with the goaltender interference against the Panthers. Yep. With this team and the way it's played, and you talked about some of the injury concerns with the Blue Jackets, where do we think we are on Zach Werenski for Saturday against the Mammoth?
That is still a big question mark. And I kind of want to know, but I kind of don't want to know what Werenski has, because it must be one hell of a bug. Pretty rare for an NHL guy to miss multiple games like this with the flu. If it's that, these guys crank up the IVs, the whole training staff gets involved. He's questionable. They keep saying day to day. So I think they're getting updates from him every few hours about where he's at and how he's feeling. Impressive. The team is 6-1 without Zach Werenski in the lineup. But I obviously they don't want that to continue. He's their best player, and that whole back end adjusts when he's not there. How about Ivan Provorov last night? Almost 27 minutes, 2 goals, 3 points, a hell of a save early in the game. It was kind of in the middle of everything. But they need Werenski back to be their full selves. And I've said this for a while, too, now. Obviously, they're playing pretty well. 14-2-1 in their last 17 games. That's a hell of a run. I still don't feel like this team has fired on all of its cylinders yet. And maybe Garland helps get them there with another line that can score. But it still feels like their best is still out there for them, which I think is a really good sign.
Porter, you just mentioned the last 17 games. They've got 29 out of a possible 34 points in those 17 games. Just a ridiculous run of play here for the Blue Jackets, yet they still sit 1 point out of a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. They would be tied with Vegas for number 1 in the Pacific. Have you ever seen a year like this where the two leagues are so different and lopsided?
Well, I do remember a time, and oddly enough, it's when the Blue Jackets were in the West, where everybody thought the West was so much better than the East. And I believe it was called the Southeast Conference, where I think Washington won it a couple years, where they were the only team with a winning record. Am I out of my mind? That division, Atlanta was in it, Carolina was in it. It was a rough division. I'd have to look to see if it's been quite this off kilter, but there's some weird stuff. And before the league got to be 32 teams, like now exactly half of the league makes the playoffs. Like before the Blue Jackets came in, when there were 28 teams, and even before that when there were 24 teams for a few years, you're talking 16 of the 24 made it in. So there were some dog-you-know-what teams that ended up in the postseason back then. It's a little better now. It's quite a bit better now. But you get some weird stuff, and it seems like the Blue Jackets are in the East when the West is soft, and it seems like they were in the West when the East was soft. But it is what it is. I'm not sure the Metro's all that awesome either, but the Blue Jackets are hanging right in there.
Aaron, I got kind of a two-parter for you here. Has there been anything deal-wise done that's been surprising to you up to this point? And would you be surprised if the Panthers dealt Sergei Bobrovsky?
First one, the Carlson trade last night. John Carlson, the defenseman from the Washington Capitals, to Anaheim. That surprised me, I guess there's a lot of surprises there that the Caps would trade Carlson, arguably their best defenseman in franchise history, one of them certainly. The guy goes to bed, does not even know he's been traded. The whole league is talking about it. This is how you treat one of your franchise guys? He wakes up to the news this morning. That doesn't seem right to me. The other thing that surprised me is that Anaheim's the team that's in on him. But look at the Ducks. The Ducks are supposed to be rebuilding again this year. And here they are either challenging or ahead of Vegas in the Pacific. So they're going for it, which is wild to me. The Bobrovsky thing is going to be interesting. But Bob, I believe, if I'm correct, he has a 16-team no trade. So there's half the league he can't be traded to. He loves it in South Florida. Loves the Panthers. loves where he lives, loves the situation. I don't think he wants to move. But we shall see. The Panthers, you could tell by the way they played at times last night. I thought they revved it up in the third period. That's a tired team. That's a team that's won 2 straight Stanley Cups, was in the final the year before that. They played a ton of hockey. They had a ton of guys in the Olympics. It just strikes me as a team that's tired. And I think Bobrovsky wants to see it through. He hasn't been very good this year. I think his save percentage is one of the lowest in the league, 873 or something like that. Crazy low for him. So he could move. I think there's obviously a record there. Teams see what he can do in the postseason. But to me, that's a tricky one. The money is tricky. The fact that he really wants to stay in Florida is tricky. My hunch is he stays put, but I do think it's a consideration for teams.
Aaron, to get your gut feeling on both of these, who's the biggest name that gets traded before 3 p.m. today, and over under 1.5 moves for the Columbus Blue Jackets today?
Let's see. Brady Tkachuk.
Oh, my.
Big name to
Oh,
move.
my.
Dang.
And Blue Jackets, when you set the over and under a 1.5?
Yeah, I'm not counting the Garland move, because I guess that was technically today. So,
and we're just talking trades that bring new guys into the organization, not
just trades in general. 1.5 moves for the Jackets.
I'll take the over.
All right, I like it.
But if you set it at 2.5, I would have taken the over.
Brady Tkachuk gets moved. You think?
I mean, yes, for a big one.
Can the Jackets get in on it?
That's big.
That would surprise me.
Darn.
But, hey, honestly, I mean, I'm not sure he moves. I'm not calling that shot. I'm just saying it's a possibility. I think where there's smoke, there's fire.
Wow.
Bake, you asked him for a big name,
he
gave you a big one. We can dream, right? And that's kind of what this allows us to do between now and 3 o'clock. Porty, you are the best. Thanks so much for giving us some time, bud. Enjoy the next 72 hours because it's going to be pretty fun.
Yeah, my pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me.
And Aaron Portzline joins us courtesy the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest.
I think I just about had a heart attack. What?
Look, you asked, the man delivered, as he always does. Someone in this state needs to deliver a Division I game against the University of Miami, the 30-0 Miami Redhawks. Miami's asked for it. We'll discuss that next. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Dr. Mark Levy can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring. Sleep better. Live better.
With all that can go wrong in your home, it's enough to make you say, oh, brother. With Brothers Roofing and Construction, one call covers it all. Roofing, siding, rotting decks, bad chimneys. We take care of it all. And we do it right the first time.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 5.79% APR 5.82% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3RD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
Looking to launch a career in the skilled trades but don't know where to begin? Part-time service in the Ohio Army National Guard can help. You can kickstart your career by enlisting in one of our many trades-based jobs. Get paid to learn these skills and gain on-the-job training when you report to your unit 1 weekend a month or 2 weeks in the summer. To learn how the Guard can pay for your civilian trade certification, visit nationalguard.com/OH. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard in coordination with the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Statistics show that roughly 20 veterans die by suicide every day in the United States. Canines for Warriors is the leading nonprofit organization providing highly trained service dogs to veterans with PTSD and other invisible wounds of war. Backed by scientific research, Canines for Warriors has transformed the lives of more than 1,000 veterans, helping them reclaim their independence. To find out more, please visit caninesforwarriors.org.
I have a special announcement. Common Man and Timmy is the most listened to radio show in the state of Ohio. Coming in at number 2, Common Sense. You should listen anyway.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Listen up. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Dr. Mark Levy's been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results. And now he has an office in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better. Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If your garage floor has stains, cracks, or even the dreaded bad epoxy job, maybe one you tried to do yourself, maybe one you paid for and it didn't work out, it can make your entire garage look bad. Let's be honest about it. And maybe those botched garage floor coatings that you've had in the past have put you off of ever getting it fixed. Well, my friends, let me tell you, the people at Comer and Cross Concrete Floor Coatings want you to know there is a fix out there. They can make your garage floor gleaming, glistening, look like a new car showroom. You call Comer and Cross at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, and they will come out with their pros, no subcontractors, and install a gleaming new Comer and Cross garage floor in just one day. Yeah, this floor is guaranteed to never chip, crack, or even show tire lift like epoxy or paint can. Never going to have that problem with Comer and Cross. Call them today, 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. It's that easy. 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, or you go to comercross.com. That's COMER cross.com. Get a new garage floor with Comer and Cross Concrete Floor Coatings today.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Federal Elite Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
After putting up with Dom Tiberi for a decade, the broadcast gods gave Bo these two. This is Bishop and Friends.
Not only did they give Bo these two, it's these two that are in for Bo today, as him and his middle child go out to Lawrence, Kansas for Kansas State. Hell of a bucket list thing. Hell of a trip and an opportunity for Bo and the boy. And really looking forward to hearing not only their travel stories, but how things were in the fog come Monday's program. Things are going to be really different for all of our teams come Monday, if you think about it. We just talked to Aaron Portzline about the Blue Jackets and the deals that they've made leading up to 3 o'clock, the trade deadline today in the NHL, and then what could be for this CBJ team if they are able to extend their winning streak to 4 against the Utah Mammoth Saturday at Nationwide, if they're able to get Zach Werenski back for that game, and probably take over that second wild card spot in the East. You also have the basketball Buckeyes wrapping up the regular season tomorrow against Indiana. That game will be at 5:30, 4:30, the pregame coverage right here on the Fan. The Ohio State women's squad has Big Ten tournament quarterfinal action today against Minnesota. That game's at 2:30. Tyler Danbrig's going to have pregame coverage over on the Fan, too. You've also got tonight in Athens, Miami of Ohio. And yes, Miami of Ohio, just so there's no confusion. I know it's the University of, is it Miami University? The University of Miami is whatever the official is. But friend of the program, Travis Steele, coaches the Red Hawks, who will look to go 31-0 against the Ohio Bobcats. That game's at 9 o'clock. They got the MAC tournament next week in Cleveland. I am rooting for Miami of Ohio. I saw you in the break meeting with Isaiah on that. I'm like, I wonder what they're doing.
Tape doesn't lie, does it?
And it was interesting, just the discussion that's been over the past couple of weeks with the Red Hawks and their tournament resume. If you stack it up to, I guess, what'll be this time next Sunday is Selection Sunday. Next Sunday is Selection Sunday. So probably this time, that time will be when the tournament committee is gathered and trying to figure out those at-large bids. You stack Miami's resume up against some of them, the Georgias, the Indianas. They won't have any quad one wins. They're not going to have nearly the same type of wins or even really the same type of resume from a who have they played. The fact that they've won 31, and they'll probably win tonight. The fact that they've won 31 in the regular season should absolutely guarantee them into the big dance, regardless of what happens next week in Cleveland. But it was Matt Brown, who has a college football website called Extra Points. He FOIA'd the University of Miami for their athletic department for some emails about scheduling. And it looks like over the last year, the Redhawks have sent about 20 emails, more than 20 emails, to some of the highest P4 schools, including Pittsburgh, Wisconsin, Marquette, and Ohio State, biggest in terms of college basketball, about getting a game on the 2026 schedule with the Redhawks. And it looks like, according to Matt Brown's reporting, Ohio State, Marquette, Wisconsin, Pittsburgh, and others left them on red, just ignored them. And I think, Baker, I've at least been a proponent of every single year Ohio State should be playing the best schools in Ohio in college hoops as part of their non-conference slate. But I understand what the argument's always been is it does nothing for the Buckeyes to play a school like Miami, to play a school like Ohio, to play a Xavier or a Cincinnati or a Kent State or a Wright State. If you win, so what? If you lose, whoa, was it really worth doing that if it was going to cost you that kind of a win before you get into the face punching that is the Big Ten?
And I guess I would have to go back and look at the schedules. I feel like Ohio State has over the years played an OU, a Kent State, a Bowling Green, a Toledo here or there. Maybe they're just those matchups stick out in my head the one or two times it's happened. But I feel like they have done that some. But I've never understood why they don't do like a little round robin tournament with Dayton, Xavier, Cincinnati, Ohio State every year. It just makes the most sense. And Miami of Ohio, why wouldn't? I understand if you lose to Miami of Ohio and you're Ohio State, that doesn't look great. A little egg on your face maybe. But I don't understand, like, why not keep the money in state? Why not do that with Miami of Ohio instead of playing a UNC Asheville, who you have in the past, or, someone else out of state?
And I will say for the Buckeyes, the past couple of years, they have scheduled some MAC schools. So in 2023, they beat Central Michigan, which obviously isn't an Ohio school. But in 2022, they beat Bowling Green. In 2021, they beat Akron. 2019, they played Kent State. And then 2018, Western Michigan. So they have MAC schools constantly, pretty much every year as one of their openers.
And I wonder, and you don't know, you'd have to see the timing of when Miami, Ohio reached out to Ohio State, if Ohio State already had their schedule in place or whatnot. You would think, okay, if that's the case, you could get a game scheduled here for the future. So you'd have to get all of the parties involved in there and all of the information. The only thing you can do is play who's on your schedule, right? And if teams won't play you, and I believe there's 2 teams they played on their schedule this year, Reese, I'd have to go back and look at it, that have actually been tournament teams quite a bit here recently and just happen to be having down years this year.
Probably.
So they have definitely been trying.
I'm going to just say something I've said. Wright State, Miami beat. Eastern Kentucky,
which Wright State is going to be a tournament team this year. Probably they won the regular season in the Horizon Conference. They're going to have to win their conference tournament early, obviously. But Wright State is the best team in that league. I
would just say that every year, because Isaiah, you're right, and over the last couple they have scheduled MAC schools. But I think you make it a point every year. You intentionally do this every single season. Because I think it's good not only for the teams to get, because Mac's got really good basketball programs. Mac's got really good basketball teams every single year. I've always been a proponent of they should have more than just one. I'm still of the mindset that Miami needs to win the Mid-American Conference tournament to make it into the big dance. I wish it wasn't the case. I don't agree with that at all. But if you put their resume up against other at-large schools, when you have that conversation next Sunday morning, I don't know if Miami wins or not. I think they should. But 2 things can be true, at least for right now. I don't think anybody's going to beat them in the Mid-American Conference tournament. So this point becomes moot if they are able to beat Akron in the MAC championship game. I just think for all of these schools, do it every year. Make it intentional every single season to do the best of Ohio, to not only get the exposure, but to sharpen your swords for conference play.
And I believe it's UNC Asheville and UNC Greensboro are the 2 teams that have been pretty regular in the NCAA tournament here in the last decade or so, but they're both are having down years this year. Like UNC Asheville in the Big South is 4th this year, so not the team that they have been recently. But you're right, and I also think that will help all these schools with, and we've talked about this, is the level of high school basketball in Ohio where it's been in the past and where it needs to be, maybe not. But this, I would think, if you would do things like that, would shine more light on basketball in the state of Ohio and maybe get these schools or give these schools the ability to retain some of the better players in the state of Ohio.
Could it be Tampa Bay Trey next week? We'll discuss that next. Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
During this 10-second promo, Rothman will lose money gambling on something.
People like you come here and blow the family nest egg that built this town.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
When you've thrown over 4,000 innings like I have, you know joint pain isn't a maybe, it's a guarantee. For you, was it climbing ladders or too much heavy lifting? Hey, we're all in the same boat. But surgery, that was never my answer.
Baseball legend Roger Clemens knows there's a better way. That's QC Kinetics regenerative treatments that help your body heal itself. No scalpels, no fake fixes, just real relief.
What I love about QC Kinetics, these are the most respected medical pros in the country that specialize in non-surgical therapies to get you moving again.
Don't mask the pain, fix it. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation.
I trusted QC Kinetics. You should too.
Call QC Kinetics today and schedule your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Looking to level up your backyard or game room? Head to Billiards Plus in Dublin. From premium grills that turn every cookout into a feast to stunning pool tables and shuffleboard tables that bring the fun home, they've got everything you need to play in style. And don't forget their authentic pizza ovens, perfect for crafting restaurant quality pies right in your backyard. Proud presenting sponsor of 97.1 The Fan's Pizza Madness. Billiards Plus is where great games and great food come together. Family owned and operated since they opened. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Yo, Harvey, Zoe, group selfie.
Ooh, nice new iPhone 17, Drewski.
Let's do a triangle formation. I'm in front.
With a center stage front camera, everyone fits in the shot.
You got it at T-Mobile.
But switching takes forever.
Not anymore. Now you can switch to T-Mobile in just 15 minutes.
Focus, people. Nail your pose.
And you get a new iPhone 17 on them.
No way.
Yes way.
No way.
Yes way, guys. Switch to T-Mobile and get iPhone 17 on us. And right now, we'll pay off your old phone up to $800.
I'm grabbing my phone and switching to T-Mobile right now.
Get back, Harvey. We're taking a... let's go again, y'all.
With 24 monthly bill credits, finance agreement, 256 gigabytes, $830, eligible trade-in, example iPhone 13 and new qualifying line, $60 plus per month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees. For well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. $800 via virtual prepaid card. Card typically takes 15 days after rebate submission, no cash access, and card expires in 6 months. Check out in 15 minutes per line. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Why does it matter to members that Aetna was named a Best Medicare Advantage company by U.S. News and World Report? Because they chose a plan that gives them real support, real people, and real care. We show up on calls with members and doctors' offices when needed. We show up with access to convenient care options and coverage that fits everyday life. We don't show up for awards. We show up for you. And showing up for you is how healthier happens together.
Remember what sunshine feels like? Windows open, birds chirping, everything looking fresh and new. Spring is closer than you think, and so are those home projects on your to-do list. Maybe winter left its mark, a small leak that's getting bigger, shingles that didn't survive the snowstorms, or siding that's clearly seen better days. Whatever your home is facing, our team of professionals at Newman Roofing are here to help. For more than 34 years, Newman Roofing has been helping homeowners protect what matters most. From your first phone call, you'll notice the difference. Passionate and committed people who care about doing the job right. And with over 1,000 five-star Google reviews, you don't have to take our word for it. If your roof, siding, or gutters need attention, call the family company you can trust, Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof this spring, get a Newman roof.
Winning isn't everything, but at Tim Hortons, every day's a chance to win when you play Roll Up to Win. Maybe it's a free coffee or donut, or a year's supply of fuel from Shell. That goes a long way. Maybe it's a Kobo e-reader, or up to $1,000 in Uber Eats gift cards, or even a VIP getaway to see Cirque du Soleil. Okay, not something you win every day. Roll Up to Win, only at Tim Hortons. No purchase necessary, 18 plus, ends March 22nd, 2026. Tim Hortons app required for digital game. Use the app to reveal digital rules. Game cups while supplies last. Offer a chance to win food and beverage prizes only. See official rules at rolluptowin.com.
Forget the pot of gold. Save some green at Coghlan Chevrolet. Lease a new 26 Chevy Trax, $169 a month. New 26 Equinox, lease for $229 a month. Or lease a new 26 Silverado, $359 a month. Visit CoglanChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive.
39-month leases. Silverado 36-month lease. $39.99 due at signing plus tax, title, and license. 10,000 miles per year, 25 cents per mile over. See dealer for details. Ends 3/31/26.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reese. It's deadline day in the NHL. Teams have until 3 o'clock to make trades. The Blue Jackets acquired forward Connor Garland from the Vancouver Canucks in exchange for a pair of picks. The 29-year-old Garland has 7 goals and 19 assists on the season. He's likely to play Saturday as the Blue Jackets will host the Utah Mammoth at 7. Zach Werenski will be a game-time decision. He's missed the last 3 with an illness. Jackets lost forward Mason Marchment with a lower body injury last night in their 4-2 win over the Panthers. Rick Bowness says Marchment will be reevaluated before Saturday's game against the Mammoth. In college basketball, the 11th-ranked Ohio State women's squad takes on Minnesota today at 2:30 in the quarterfinals of the Big Ten tournament. The Ohio State men's squad hosts Indiana tomorrow at 5:30, and Miami of Ohio looks for 31-0 tonight in Athens. The 19th-ranked Redhawks battle Ohio U at 9 o'clock. This update sponsored by Eco Plumbers. Get $500 in free plumbing repairs when you buy a new water heater. Visit geteco.com and book today.
If you love a good pie analogy,
think of the cap as a pie, and once you take out one piece, there's less left for the next guy.
Then this is the radio show for you. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Yes, you are. Reeser and Baker rolling with you on this Friday as Bo and Beamsy are headed to Lawrence, Kansas, and into the fog as the Jayhawks take on Kansas State tomorrow afternoon. Beamsy finished youth basketball, so he got to pick his favorite college basketball team outside of the state of Ohio, and they are the Kansas Jayhawks. So an incredible opportunity for Bo and his son to do that tomorrow afternoon, but it means you're stuck with Baker and I and the AV cart of radio for the next 2 hours. We'll have Tim May on at 10:30. We'll have Doug Lesmerises on at 11:30 today. And what I'd like to get from both of them are their thoughts on what's going to happen at the White House today at 4 o'clock. You're going to save college athletics and what I don't think is a good faith effort to do it.
Why aren't both of them at the White House today partaking in this?
Well, I think Clay Travis is going to be there for it. So you do have reporters in the college athletic space there to decipher whatever's going to go on. I don't think it's a good faith effort. I think it's a distraction. I think they're just trying to get a good photo op because it's not serious unless you include coaches, in my opinion. Now they're going to have athletic directors. Pete Bavacqua, famously of Notre Dame, is going to be part of this. Tony Petitti, Greg Sankey might join via satellite feed. I know Petitti's trying to get his college football playoff expansion off the ground, and you saw this week from a couple coaches. I think it was Tennessee's Josh Heupel saying, yeah, I'd like a 2014 college football playoff. Of
course you would, Josh.
And you had Greg Sankey go, wait, that's not the playoff format that I've been talking about, guys.
I will say this, and give the Big Ten credit for this. Whenever you have heard Big Ten coaches talk about all of this, they have towed the company line. And they have said, this is what Tony Petitti, this is what the conference wants, this is what we're doing. Even Ross Bjork has said selfishly, maybe Ohio State doesn't need this, but for the good of the game, the SEC, not on the same page, it doesn't seem.
It's a 4 o'clock meeting on a Friday. What really do you want to get done with this? Appreciate everybody for the daily interactions in the YouTube chat. This from JD earlier in the morning, and I apologize for getting it to it a little bit later, but we talked about Miami going for 31-0 tonight in Athens, taking on the Bobcats. JD had said, if only someone at the Fan had access to Ross Bjork or Jake Diebler and asked the question, why not play Ohio schools? Would love to have the answer on the record. And I think it was Chris Holtman that had been asked directly about this, And he had made reference to Ohio State's desire for non-conference scheduling to be more in the Power Four, which is why you get games like Pittsburgh, like Notre Dame, like Virginia that was played in Nashville, like the CBS Sports Classic. That's, I think, been their focus when talking about non-conference scheduling, and then just filling in others where you can, things like Mount St. Mary's or Purdue, Fort Wayne, have been those other kind of games that you have. And while I agree that those kinds of games with the Sports Classic, with Virginia, are good, I think you should supplement instead of the IUPUIs or the Purdue Fort Waynes, the IU Indy, or whatever the thing's called now. Go to a Dayton or go to a Cincinnati or go to a Miami of Ohio and play those kinds of games. I think you can do both.
And I believe, Reese, Jake Diebler has been asked about this.
I'm sure.
A couple of times, and I think Jake Diebler has said that they would love to do that, and they would work. These schedules, as you know, they get worked on years in advance. So, and we've seen they can be changed. COVID taught us that these things can be changed faster and faster, and we see it all the time in football, like Ohio State and Alabama have been supposed to play 27-28. Is that going to happen?
No, it will. Speaking into existence,
we don't know,
damn it.
but so I know these things can change the closer we get to it, but they're also worked on well in advance. And Jake Diebler, I think, has even said, I would have to go back and look and find it, but I believe Jake Diebler has said they would love to schedule those games moving forward. So maybe moving forward we will see something like that.
And who's to say, I mean, where the Buckeyes are at right now, and I do have a dream, and I hope this dream comes true. Where the Buckeyes are at right now, where Cincinnati's at right now, and if Miami loses to Akron in the conference championship game, they're all in a very similar area, right near the last four in. Wouldn't that be fun in Dayton if you gave me Cincinnati and Miami, Cincinnati and Ohio State and Miami? Any of those games, that's my dream scenario. I would love for that to happen.
The selection committee isn't doing that.
But wouldn't it be fantastic?
I want to live in your world, Isaiah.
I know.
I think it'd be wonderful to see Ohio State face Miami in the NCAA tournament. Now, for the Buckeyes, I think if you're able to beat Indiana tomorrow, 5:30 at the Schottenstein Center in their game against the Hoosiers, I think you put yourself firmly in the NCAA tournament. And I think next week in Indianapolis, if you're able to get one or two wins, either that Thursday or if you're able to, as the schedule would hold right now, if Ohio State played a game next Friday, it would be against Michigan, who's the top seed in the Big Ten tournament. If Ohio State can make that game, then I think they're firmly into the NCAA tournament.
Yes.
They're not worried about having to play one of the first four games in Dayton.
You're correct, Reese. I'm still of the belief that even if Ohio State goes out and handles business tomorrow, just because of the craziness and uncertainness of March,
it's the best.
I'm still of the belief that they need to win a game in the Big Ten tournament. I could be wrong, but I am still in that group just because I know crazy things happen. You're right, though. If they win two and they get to a matchup with number one Michigan in the Big Ten tournament, they're in the tournament. They win two games I think if they beat Indiana and they win one game in the NCAA tournament, or the Big Ten tournament, they're definitely in. If they win two in the Big Ten tournament, they're in.
And I think with the Hoosiers tomorrow, you're shooting as well as you have all season. You're also getting healthier at the right time. Maybe you could see some Brandon Knowles sprinkled in there, as again, you want to ramp him up for next week in Chicago and then into the NCAA tournament. But the first 2,000 fans of the Shot tomorrow get a Bruce Thornton bobblehead. So a great way to send him into March, into the madness of what's to come, because that's what you play for. You play for these kinds of opportunities, and so an incredible one presents itself for Jake Diebler and company. There was, I don't know if you missed it, in the update that I just did, a pregnant pause, because I had some copy for the NBA. Now, the Cleveland Cavaliers have firmly entrenched themselves as one of, if not the favorite in the Eastern Conference. The New York Knicks also, I don't know if the Pistons just yet. I'm not quite on Jalen Tyson's level where I'm saying I'm not going to call them fake or phony. And I don't think we ever got the Cavalier that was responsible for saying Detroit ain't it. But J.B. Bickerstaff was like, he didn't mean it, or else he'd have put his name on it. I don't think any of the Cavs that played under Bickerstaff would have said something like that. And Jalen Tyson, I think he called out LeBron a couple weeks ago. He's like, no, this is Donovan Mitchell's team. Seems that he would be the guy to say it. But I say all of that to say it'll likely be the second game of the season for Jason Tatum. He's going to make his debut tonight as they host the Dallas Mavericks, and it'll probably be minutes restricted because you've got that game Sunday between the Cavs and the Celtics. So the busy weekend for sports fans in the Buckeye State just got a lot bigger because you've also got Horizon League action. I think Cleveland State, I think Wright State are involved in those tournaments. How many games did you say are playing?
I believe it was 25. We've got 25 conference tournament games in a 24-hour period today.
And then Matthew chimes in the YouTube chat. Hey, just jumping in late. Don't forget OHSAA wrestling districts start tonight. The state tournament is at the Schottenstein Center next weekend.
It's a busy time of year. I want to talk about Jason Tatum real quick.
Ooh, okay.
And we all saw him at the end of last year.
Yeah.
Snapped his Achilles.
Yeah.
If he comes back tonight, that's less than 10 months. Now, I know that they would not, and I'm sure he's going to be on a minutes restriction here as they're ramping him up for the playoffs. That is pretty incredible, and it seems pretty soon for an Achilles. Now, it says a full return to sports often requires 9 to 12 months, so he's in that range, right? He's in that 9-month range, and I'm positive that the doctors would not let him come back if there was a risk of re-injuring this Achilles. And I know everybody heals differently. That is a tremendous job by Jason Tatum and their medical doctors to get him ready to be back this quick. I believe when it kind of happened, we were like, well, maybe he could be back for the playoffs next year. And we all kind of laughed because they're not making the playoffs without him. Well, they've been really good. Jaylen Brown has been fantastic this year without him. It's just an impressive thing that Jason Tatum, whether he returns tonight or not, is this close to returning to the court.
So I'm looking at FanDuel's current odds for the Eastern Conference champion. The Boston Celtics have the best odds, followed by the Cavs, then the Knicks. Plus 230 for Boston, plus 260 for Cleveland. New York's plus 430, and Detroit's plus 440. So Charlotte's right there. Not right there, but they've got the 5th best odds in the Eastern Conference. If there's ever a time for Tatum to come back and for Boston to make the kind of run that they would, the East is as wide open as I can remember. I got to pay off on the Tampa Bay Trey tease. I'll do that next. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
If your roof is leaking, you don't need a sales pitch. You need answers. I'm Bill Schmidt with Brothers Roofing and Construction, a local certified contractor helping homeowners across central and southern Ohio solve real problems. No pressure, just honest work done right.
Got this. Breathe. You got this. You got this.
In the moments that truly matter, what do? Rise to the occasion. Ohio Health. It's time.
It's March. Send it in, big fella. That means the greatest sports weekend of the year is coming, and the best place to set the puppies and watch the tournament is at Hollywood Casino Columbus. I'm Scotty Vegas, and Thursday through Sunday opening weekend, kiss the kids goodbye and hang out from noon to 5 with the Fan at the Hollywood Casino Sportsbook. A Bill Raftery impersonation contest, free throw games, free shirts, and more. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966. Onions!
Hi, I'm Dr. John Runyon from Runyon Dental Group. Are you missing teeth or do you have uncomfortable dentures? Dental implants can not only transform your smile, they can restore your confidence and allow you to eat those foods you love that you've been missing. When I was in my early 30s, I was in a similar situation needing complex dental work and dental implants. I understand all the emotions that you're feeling because I've been the patient and I know that we can help you. Schedule a free consultation today at runyondentalgroup.com. That's runyondentalgroup.com.
Build your cybersecurity skills and prep for thousands of open positions employers are desperate to fill. Attend classes live online or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
I love Right Pack Credit Union because they're solution driven.
I feel valued as a member. They're focused on the latest technology and the personal connections.
Experience benefits that go beyond banking with Right Pat Credit Union. Just ask our actual members.
I definitely recommend Right Pat to all my family and friends as a credit union of choice.
Visit one of our Columbus area Right Pat Credit Union member centers near you. Based on individual members' experiences, results may vary.
Registration for the Fan 5K is now open. Join your favorite personalities June 20th at Otterbein University. The Fan 5K features a medal, t-shirt, free race photos, and a post-race party.
Get your spot today at 971therace.com.
Oh, what? Just cleared that drain last week.
At the Waterworks, we mean clean, which means we don't just clear your drain, we actually clean it. Get your drains good as new with the Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or give us a call and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Partly sunny skies and highs soaring into the mid-70s. We do have an isolated chance of showers and thunderstorms, though, in the afternoon. Otherwise, we remain mainly dry as we go into tonight. Partly cloudy skies, breezy winds, and lows in the 60s. For Saturday, we do have a chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon with breezy winds, some which could be on the stronger side. Otherwise, we'll have partly cloudy skies and highs in the mid to low 70s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Bobby Carpenter demands that you watch Morning Juice on YouTube. If you don't, Tito will move into your house.
Live at 6 a.m. on YouTube and streaming on the Fan app.
They'll offer betting advice, but don't bet on it being good. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
And Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. And we're so thankful to have Diamond Seller's patronage of this program. But I might have to apologize to the folks at Diamond Seller. There might be several F-bombs in this segment that Isaiah's just not able to get off, or at least to quiet for the next 10 minutes. We'll have Tim May on in 12. The Cleveland Browns have restructured, again, the contract of Deshaun Watson. Great.
QB1?
Probably.
QB1.
I want to say the F word so bad. I've on Twitter when it says
finally that you have a QB1. Finally.
The lower end of the cap for this year, the $80.7 million cap charge. When the new league year opens next week, the Browns will have around $37.5 million to play with. And this is just kicking the can down the road. The money is going to be due eventually. And this is the worst deal in the history of the league. And I hate so much that the team I root for has been part of this. In a guy who quit on the Houston Texans after fleecing them, they allowed Houston to basically reset their franchise. And now you've seen the moves that the Texans have made, making the playoffs, knocking the Browns out of the playoffs, and they just gave Danielle Hunter a bunch of money. Things are all well for Houston after they jettisoned Watson. What happened to Cleveland? Nothing great. But the Browns do have the 6th overall pick, so maybe they can provide him with 6 and 24. If they can use now some of that free cap space to sign guys on the offensive line. They made the move with the Texans last week or earlier this week, Titus Howard, and they can provide whomever the quarterback is going to be with enough talent to be competitive this year. That's, I guess, all I can hope for. But I am so excited for, I think it's next June, when they can be finally rid of 4.
Unless he plays great this year and you re-sign him.
We get an extension on him.
Oh, they can't give this guy more money, can they?
I mean, if he plays well.
He would have to have the most incredible season ever. I mean, how well would he have to play?
I was just about to ask you, Isaiah, what does that mean?
To consider?
We know what franchise we're talking about here, right? So the quarterback bar isn't very high.
It's the lowest in the league.
If he comes in and you make the playoffs this year.
A little razzle-dazzle. Above 500?
You still don't have a quarterback for the future. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. It sounds like they're close to a restructuring on Denzel Ward's contract as well.
That'll clear up some more space for the league.
So that would clear up some more space. We heard Bo talk about this last week with maybe Cleveland. They just got Titus Howard. Maybe they get another guy or two on this offensive line. Maybe they don't have to draft an offensive lineman at 6. And maybe, we've heard possibly Marvin Harrison is available. Maybe you make a trade. Could it be your second-round pick and you get Marv, and then maybe you don't have to take a wide receiver? Maybe then you can take best available player.
You mean Caleb
at
Downs?
6 and 24? One thing you can say about this Browns organization and the Haslams is they are more than willing to kick the can down the road and pay money.
They're willing to pay because
more money out there. Could you imagine if this franchise was run by competent people with the amount of money that the Haslams are willing to put out there and pay, just how good they could be?
So the Watson restructure is going to be in bonuses. Probably similar. I don't know what you want me to say, Bake.
The Haslams need to work as more of an investor role, I think. Maybe we could have them as an investor. Not so much an owner.
The Parks and Rec episode where it was Mona Lisa Saperstein goes to her dad and just says, "Money, please." And Dr. Saperstein just hands the money. Just says, "You're great. Here's money." And does nothing else with his children. That's what the Haslams need to be here.
That's what good owners do.
And they
right?
acted like they were doing that. There was a portion of time where the Haslams were too involved. And then when they brought in this new regime of Stefanski and Andrew Berry, everyone was talking about is how they plan on taking their hands off the wheels. They're going to step back and let this new regime that knows what they're doing have full control. And what has it felt like? They've still had one hand on the wheel this entire time, dragging us down into the ditch.
So it's next Wednesday, the new league year begins. They've done well in cap gymnastics. For the Cincinnati Bengals, you cannot say the same about their ownership. They're not willing. They haven't been historically willing to spend, but over the last couple of years, they have. If Joe Burrow wants a guy back, they've paid for him. They gave Trey Hendrickson a raise last season, but he will become a free agent again next Wednesday. The legal tampering stuff starts on Monday, and so over the next 72 hours, you're going to hear a ton more NFL news that you've heard over the last week. And there's been a lot over the last week post-NFL scouting combine. This was Adam Schefter talking about a potential landing spot for Trey Hendrickson. Oh, it's doing the thing again on my Zeta. Isaiah, I put it on your array. Adam Schefter on Pardon My Take. Do you see it?
See if I can find it here. I don't see it, but
it's the beauty of live radio. I should have done this in the break, but I was too busy being mad about Deshaun Watson. Adam Schefter says Trey Hendrickson would love to play in Tampa. So that's a possible landing spot. I know when they were prognosticating landing spots for free agents, you had a lot of Trey Hendrickson to the Indianapolis Colts. I think both spots would make sense. You know, we had Aaron Portzline on. In the last hour, we talked about Bob's affinity for South Florida. A lot of people want to go play in Florida. Let's hear from Shefty.
He would love to be in Tampa. And I'm not just saying that. I think he would love to be in Tampa. He lives in Ponte Vedra. I don't think the Jaguars have the necessary requisite cap room for him.
Okay.
Tampa would be a great fit. I think in a perfect world, Trey would like to stay in Florida if he could. No state tax. But he's also open to going to the best possible situation.
Shefty is the king of that, right?
Yes.
He's just making sure he's covering all his bases. He's from Jacksonville. I don't think they can do it. He would love to play in Tampa, but he'll go to the best possible situation. Just covering all of his bases.
I mean, Schefter's really the king of the information trading market. It was not lost on me. Carnell Tate is represented by Drew Rosenhaus.
Mm-hmm.
And the Carnell Tate stuff from the Combine about the 40 time. And then yesterday with the DJ Moore stuff that came out, Shefty broke it. Who represents DJ Moore? Drew Rosenhaus. Like, it's such an economy that Adam Schefter has built in information trading, giving, taking. all of that. It's very impressive, but also for Florio to kind of call him on it, which is, I think, what Florio was doing and saying, that's a weird thing you're doing, Adam.
And I'm not going to blame all this Carnell Tate stuff on Adam Schefter.
No.
Because people were talking about Carnell Tate's 40 well before any of this come out. I think they were just, yes.
Oh,
I've never heard somebody's 40 time get talked about so much. Like, and it doesn't matter at all. Like we talked about Jackson Smith and Jigba, they said 4.5 or 4.48 to 4.53. Puka Nacua in the 4.5s. It doesn't matter, but I feel like there's just so much consternation about Carnell Tate's 40 time, and I don't understand it.
That was, I think, Florio's point with it, where you had the slow time by the laser. Again, I don't think it's there's no human error with the laser. But then all of a sudden, Schefter puts out there that there might have been some human error with the laser, or differences between the humans on with their fingers on the stopwatches and the laser itself. So Schefter putting it out there was strange. But if you can connect the kind of dots with the agents are saying, hey, let's help our guy out. Carnell does not need any help. Because
be just fine.
The tape does enough of the talking with all of these guys at Ohio State, with all 11 of them. You know, even Will Kasmerick. The tape does the talking. Like, that's a 4th, 5th round pick because of his tape.
Well, and we've talked about Luke Farrell.
Yeah.
Nick Vanette, guys that have had long careers at tight end in the NFL that you don't hear about, but that's because they're in there doing such a good job being like a 6th lineman for their team and help blocking and paving the way for the run game. Yeah, Kasmerick seems perfect in that. And listen, Mike Mayock may say Caleb Downs doesn't have super high upside, so he's not a top 10 pick. Everybody else says Caleb Downs is great.
Well, you know, with silly season, I think that is one of the things, you know, Mike Mayock wants to come out and be discussed. Much like Bruce Pearl. Congratulations. You are now being discussed for the take that you have.
Well, I mean, I really didn't mean it that way.
Yeah, at least Mike Mayock hasn't walked his stuff back yet.
Goodness.
I haven't thought much about Auburn basketball since they did the Nepo Baby flip. Now I'm rooting against Auburn basketball at every single chance. I don't know what their tournament resume looks like. I think they're as bubblicious as in Indiana. But, yeah, if you're playing against the Auburn Tigers, please knock out the Auburn Tigers. In 2 minutes, Tim May, can college athletics be saved? That's next. Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
Mortgage rates have dropped, and the best news is they're expected to go down even more. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. If you've been thinking about buying a new home, now is the time. And with Third Federal's Buy Now, Refi Later program, you don't have to wait for rates to drop again. You get the guaranteed lowest rate now, and if rates drop later, even after you close, you can refinance to a lower rate for free. That's right, for free. And now with Third Federal's early rate lock, you can lock in the guaranteed lowest rate even before you find a house. So you'll always have the best rate. So don't wait. Call Third Federal today and lock in the guaranteed lowest rate.
Right now at Third Federal, lock in 5.79% APR 5.82% on a 30-year fixed rate purchase mortgage and refinance later if rates go down for free. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3rd-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for buy now, refi later. Lowest rate guarantee and early rate lock at thirdfederal.com. Equal housing lender.
When it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, call Newman Roofing. 614-NEW-ROOF. NewmanRoofing.com.
With Aetna, I always get a quick answer, and I don't have to search on the internet. They go above and beyond to help me with whatever I need.
Those words from a real Aetna Medicare Advantage member speak to why U.S. News & World Report named us a best Medicare Advantage company. Because we show up on calls with members and doctor's offices when requested. We show up with access to convenient care options. We show up for you. Because that's how healthier happens together. Member feedback has been edited for length and clarity.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
After my accident, people warned me to slow down. I said, I don't know how. Thanks to my VA care team, I haven't.
At VA, we're using technology to help veterans recover faster and live their lives to the fullest. Learn more at vacareers.va.gov/PSA.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. We'll read your emails on the air, but we won't tell you where to send them. Hey, we're not not doing all the work for you. This is Bishop and Friends.
Yes, it is. Reeser and Baker with you on this Friday. You can feel it. You can smell it. Hell, you can even taste it. Spring is in the air. The Ohio State Buckeyes begin spring practices this coming Monday. But before we discuss spring football at Ohio State, and we'll just go out now to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline, a man with many a spring ball under his belt. Today at 4 o'clock, Tim May, they're going to save college athletics. Can it truly be saved on a Friday afternoon?
No.
Yeah.
Thank God, though. Thank God somebody's making an effort. But I don't even know what this committee is all about. I mean, you need current serving other than just the Notre Dame athletic director. You need current serving athletic directors, coaches. I guess they got a couple of presidents maybe coming of universities, but you got to get it sorted out. And but even then, these things are all going to get challenged, as you well know, in the legal system, no matter what happens, because you've given guys their freedom, for one of another term, and it's hard for anybody who's tasted freedom to give it back. So this is going to be an interesting process over the last many years.
And Tim, there's nothing wrong
over the coming many years.
Yeah, nothing wrong with having the conversation. Nothing wrong with saying.
No. There are solutions that can be had, but it's going to be a process. It's not going to be a dictum. I mean, like I've been talking to people. The only good thing, I'm totally against the federal government being involved in anything like this, because you're an association, the National Collegiate Athletic Association. It's not just, like I keep telling people, it's not somebody living in a big castle over in Indianapolis and putting out dictums. It's like the bottom line is they're all members. Everybody's members, but nobody trusts anybody. As you know, the CSC came up with guidelines, et cetera, but nobody's going by them. And they all agreed, sort of going in, they would go by them, but nobody's really going by them. If you go by them, you're kind of a chump, And so you got like people like at Ohio State, with Ryan Day and stuff. They try to do things by the book because they don't want it. They don't want it to be come back in their face when somebody finally does start enforcing things. But other people aren't doing that, so it's a weird, conundrum. You put, places like Ohio State and some other places that are trying to do it by the book that they agreed upon, but then others who signed the same papers, et cetera, they're just going go ahead and do what you do. We're going to do what we do. So if that's your association, that's not much of an association. I mean, the NFL puts out, salary cap and things like that, and you must adhere to it. You are an entity, meaning the Dallas Cowboys aren't the same as the Cleveland Browns, aren't the same as the Cincinnati Bengals, and we definitely know that, right? But the bottom line is the basic guidelines you go by from salary cap and things like that, you must adhere to, or you pay a price for that. But in right now in major college football, especially in basketball, it is wild, wild west.
Tim, I want to know why you weren't invited to the White House this afternoon to be a part of this.
Well, you know what? Number one, if you got to pay your own way, I'm not doing it.
That's fair.
Let's face it.
Exactly.
If they give me first class airfare here to Dulles or here to Washington, well, I'd really want to trade that in for first class from here to Hawaii. But we saw what happened to Jim Brewer when he paid his own way to Hawaii. Did y'all see that video? Pretty funny. But anyway, they just took him, he and his wife, out of first class with no explanation. No, there are certain things I would definitely do, one of which is one transfer portal, probably in the spring after, late spring after the spring quarter is over or spring semester is over. I would change things where, like for football, I would have summer, like a summer camp or whatever. I would do away with spring football per se. You could have OTA kind of like workouts and stuff, but I would extend the preseason aspect of college football. So you could like maybe work out for 2 weeks, take a week break, and then go into preseason camp. Formally that'd give you 5 or 6 weeks of preseason camp. But you'd have everybody on board from the late spring portal window. You could only enter the portal one time. Everybody makes a mistake, but if some of these guys are making 4 or 5 mistakes. That's crazy. There's no such thing. and I definitely would have a salary cap for NIL, et cetera. I mean, they tried to do that, but they went at it. I almost said a bad word. They went at it backwards. I mean, $600 or more, you got to report it. I mean, dude. I mean, Jeremiah Smith is not going to get an offer for less than $15,000-$20,000. You think minimum, right? So that's stupid. You got the revenue sharing aspect of things, or for that's different from the NIL, and that does have a cap on it, but not necessarily from school to school is it the same cap. Like Ohio State's spreading it over 4 sports. If you're in the Big East, for example, in basketball, does the Big East still exist? By the way, I always forget. I'm just joking. But if you're in the Big East and your main sport is basketball, you can spend $20 million on basketball. You know what I mean? For players. I mean, things are just like well-intentioned in some respects, but I don't know how you put a total rope around everything.
Get the Tim May Show with Clay Hall on FanStream Sports, wherever it is you do your podcasting, also available on YouTube.
I'm in the studio right now, about to Dylan Davis, from Delaware Gazette's joining me for our Friday edition right now, as soon as I get off this fine program.
I shouldn't assume too much, but a spring preview coming up for the football Buckeyes on your end of things.
What's basketball?
For Monday, when they get going at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center, what do you see as the next step in the evolution of Julian Sayin as QB1?
I said I wasn't going to say but I just did. Next step is just I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you do this in practice, but recognize more quickly, if in fact that's the term, or be more willing to bail. Meaning when you see green grass, green artificial turf in front of you, be willing to bail maybe a little sooner in terms of, he's a classic almost pocket kind of like passer, although I think when he rolls out and throws the ball, he's just as good. I mean, I really like him from the aspect of throwing the football on any kind of platform, any kind of way, but just be a little more willing to take the run aspect of things, because, man, when he adds that truly to his repertoire, this offense will be tough to stop. And we saw him, dude, he got crunched 4 or 5 times by Miami, crunched. This idea that some people think he's not tough is BS. I don't know where that ever got started. But the bottom line is he is tough, but he could make it a little easier on himself on himself and the offense if they have to respect the fact he may run the ball more than he does. So that would be, if I'm Ryan Day, if I'm Arthur Smith, who I got to meet last night for the first time face to face, really like that guy a lot. I liked him going in. I have to be honest about things. But the bottom line is I would be stressing that aspect of it. Billy Fessler, the quarterback's coach, take some of those easy yards. And, there's nothing wrong with running out of bounds or sliding, but maybe take a few more of those easy yards and keep matriculating the ball down the field, as Hank Stram said.
Tim, with spring practice starting on Monday, what's a storyline or two that you're interested in the most?
How the offensive line's going to line up from day one, and what's it going to look like at the end of spring ball from the standpoint of where the personnel are going to be. Is Austin Seravalge your dyed-in-the-wool left tackle, or are they going to move him maybe to the right side? Maybe move Phillip Daniels down inside the guard. Who's going to really step up? Is Ian Moore that guy who's really ready to step up and be a regular, starting tackle? If so, that gives you a lot of options. They got to get the right side of the offensive line. You've heard me say that ad nauseum, Rhino. They've got to get the right side of the offensive line figured out and then go from there. Now, I know it's March, it's not August, but that ended up being their Achilles last year. You could see it against the better opponents, and boy, did Indiana and Miami take advantage of it. So your right side, right guard especially, who's going to be that starting right guard, and go from there.
I know it's hard to tell because obviously you haven't seen all the guys. There's new guys coming in. but I remember a couple years ago you were very high on James Peoples. Who's a guy that you think maybe we're not really talking about right now, but we will be talking about coming out of spring practice?
I don't know what happened. I mean, when they get into a season and you're undefeated and you're not playing that many offensive plays to begin with, it's hard to get guys into the game just for a look-see, right? Well, when a guy's nickname is Turbo, I want to see Turbo, because obviously I should have asked about this last night and I didn't do it, although all that stuff was off the record.
Yeah, how much time did you get with Smith?
But with Bo Jackson and Isaiah West coming off shoulder tweaks, from a surgical standpoint, you got to figure they're not going to be doing anything super major in the spring in terms of contact or anything like that. They're probably out there moving around. But Turbo Rogers, for example, I want to see what he's all about. Jacoby Jackson, the transfer from where Florida, I want to see what he's all about. I mean, they're just these other running backs, for example. You do want to kind of get an idea of what they're all about and whether they can help you. But definitely I'm interested in Turbo Rogers for just because of his nickname, if nothing else.
Yeah, tremendous opportunity for those guys with West and Jackson out for the spring. It'll all culminate April 18th for the spring game. He is Tim May. Tim, we are so fortunate to have you every Friday with us and so much more intelligent when we get to hear from you, bud. Thanks so much. Enjoy the weekend.
Hey. Tell Doug Lesmerises I said hi and tell him the exact same thing you just said. Appreciate it.
I can't tell him the exact same thing, but I can do a similar song and dance at 11:30. See you, bud.
See you, fellas.
He joins us courtesy of the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. I think I fixed my buttons. Let's see if I can hit the right button when we do Thing or Not a Thing next. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
This is a Daily Show with Coach Jake Diebler, brought to you by Encova Insurance. You're going into the last home game of the season. It also involves Senior Day. Is it kind of a juggling act to balance the emotions on a day like that, Jake?
It is, but, I think you got to embrace, what that day means. We want to celebrate Bruce and, celebrate the guys who are ending their collegiate careers. But, we also, it's a big game. And, we got to focus. Once that ball's thrown up, we got to focus on the task at hand. And our guys will, because they got great maturity, and winning's important to them.
Okay, we'll have another comment in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the court. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. Basketball is full of challenging shots, and life can be too. With Encova, you don't have to do it alone. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Now, the officials have been talking for quite some time.
All righty, let's see what they have to say.
Upon further review, there is no penalty on the play. However, we have conferred and discovered that Bob, the line judge, has saved a boatload for his kids' college using Ohio's 529 plan. It is tax-free, accepted nationwide. Bob recommends we all go to collegeadvantage.com. First down.
Well, that's not entirely unexpected.
Classic Bob.
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams. The agile, get it done teams. The achieve more together teams. And the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Learn more about Ohio State at osu.edu/impact.
Jake, as you get ready for the final home game of the season, I know you're really good about acknowledging the crowd, but how about all of the other people within the arena that help make things happen on a game day?
It's a big-time operation for a big arena, right? And there's so many different people that play a part in executing game day operations at a high level, and we're grateful for all of those different people who play a part. And it takes a big community to kick things off in a big way and in the shot, and we got a great team that surrounds our team to make it happen.
Okay, that's the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hello, I'm Ross Bjork, Senior Vice President and Eugene Smith Wolf Foundation Endowed Athletics Director at The Ohio State University. In partnership with AEP, Donato's, Kroger, The Ohio State University, Wexner Medical Center, Huntington, and 10 TV, Ohio State Athletics strives to inspire the community to make a positive impact on children and families in our great state through the Buckeyes Care Initiative. Show and share your support in the community by using the hashtag BuckeyesCare.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back to That Lux Life. It's your boy, Will Winmore. Today's guest, the Millionaire Ball from the new Ohio Lottery Daily Draw Game, Millionaire for Life. Hey-o! So if a player matches 5 numbers and the Millionaire Ball number, they win $1 million a year for life. Hey-o! Or $100,000 a year for life if they match just 5. Hey-o! Millionaire for Life is the game. Millionaire Ball is his name. Play Ohio's newest daily draw game for your chance to win for life. Players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Enjoy more ways to save at Kroger, like low prices in every aisle. And you can clip and save more with digital coupons in the Kroger app. Plus, you can earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. So it's always easy to save big. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply. See site for details.
Right now, save big on USDA Choice Bone and Ribeye Steaks. They're only $9.99 a pound in the value pack with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Find us on YouTube. Search WBNS Radio and you can see what Bo looks like. But only if you subscribe. This is Bishop and Friends.
Yeah, subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. Leave us a 5-star review if you haven't already. Subscribe at WBNS Radio on YouTube if you haven't already. Give us a thumbs up on the show if you haven't already. Like, what are we doing here?
And then it's easy for you to go back and listen to Tim May if you
Everything comes right to you. Your eye holes, your ear holes, it's all there if you just subscribe. These are very simple things. We thank you for rolling on with us on this Friday edition of the program. But we'll be back Monday. He'll give us Tales from the Fog. He'll be at Allen Fieldhouse for tomorrow's I don't know why I said it like that. Kansas State game. It's going to wrap the regular season for both teams. You got the Big 12 tournament next week with the hologram court. I think that's at Jerry's World. I'd have to look. I probably won't look before the show's over, but the Big 10 tournament's next week at the United Center. Ohio State right now is the 8 seed, excuse me. They'll fluctuate between the 8 or the 9, depending on what happens between Ohio State and Indiana. That game's tomorrow at 5:30. We'll have pregame coverage of the Buckeyes and the Hoosiers Saturday at 4:30.
Thing or not a thing?
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
I did it. I got the button to work.
I'm so proud of you.
Gold star for me today. Earlier in the week, ESPN reported that, quote, financial penalties will be imposed on schools that do not follow new player availability reporting processes in the NCAA men's and women's basketball tournaments. For the first time, teams will be required to submit player availability information for the NCAA tournament. If a school does not abide by the process, it'll face potential fines. A first offense will result in a penalty of up to $10,000. The second offense, $25,000, and the third offense is up to $30,000 for the school and $10,000 for the head coach. All penalties will be assessed after the big dance. For this year's NCAA tournament, teams must submit an initial report to the NCAA by 9 o'clock local time the night before their first game, before any game, and then provide an update 2 hours before the scheduled tip time. 3 designations are going to be there: available, questionable, or out. Players not listed as questionable, that's up to a 75% chance of playing, are assumed to be available. Thing or not a thing?
This is a thing, and it just shows how much the NCAA is in bed with the gambling websites now because they want to make the money too. And it is also, to me, a ridiculous thing that states like the state of Ohio are saying you cannot do player prop bets because that's what this is all about. And it is ridiculous that the NCAA wants to reap the rewards of this, and then you can't do it here in certain states. Like, it should be allowed everywhere or it should be allowed nowhere. And if the NCAA is truly, and I know that the state of Ohio is the one that banned those player prop bets, but if the NCAA is going to be full on in bed with this, then it should be fair game for everyone. And if the NCAA says, well, we're kind of worried about our players and them being bullied online for this and that, then get out of bed with the gambling websites and don't do stuff like this.
It does feel like they have one foot in and one foot out. It's either like all in or let's not do it at all. And it's funny, too, because I can already see, this is a thing, because I can already see coaches complaining about it. It's only a matter of time before the likes of Mick Cronin, maybe Izzo, Calipari, like one of them is probably going to talk about this and how it's a competitive disadvantage. It's an annoying thing they don't want to do. And the other thing, too, is I wonder, especially this first time, how truthful they will be. Like, are they going to list everyone as questionable? Will they truly list people as out? Like, how, in the NCAA, who hasn't been the hardest hammer when actually giving fines, how likely is it that when every team is listing the players they have heard as questionable, how hard are they going to come down for them, especially the first time?
Yeah, the enforcement's been the biggest thing for the NCAA. Oh, and just by the way, Big 12 tournament will be at the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City. So it's in Missouri next week with the hologram court. Where was I? California State University, Bakersfield.
You were at number 2.
8-23 on the season. They're last in the Big West. On August 29th of last year, then men's basketball coach Rod Barnes opened an anonymous email from a tipster who alleged Barnes' assistant coach Kevin Mays was also working as a pimp across 4 states. ESPN says other lawsuits, internal investigations, dismissals, and finger-pointing have only served to deepen the department's sense of crisis. Barnes was fired back on September 24th. In the email, the tipster was identified as a woman who Kevin Mays allegedly had trafficked for several months. The title of the email, quote, "Fix it or the whole staff will fall." The email, quote, "A first and final warning." Barnes then forwarded the university email to the university's HR department, which sent it to the police, triggering an investigation that led to criminal charges against Mays. Mays is currently being held without bail, which is good. He faces a hefty rap sheet of 11 criminal and misdemeanor charges, including felonies such as pimping, possession of automatic firearms and high-capacity magazines, and possession of methamphetamine and marijuana with intent to sell. All of that was the final straw at Cal State Bakersfield for Barnes, the head coach, and athletic director Kyle Condor. Thing or not a thing?
So I don't know if this coach and AD knew this stuff was going on. I guess shame on them for it being on their watch, but it sounds like as soon as the head coach got the email, he forwarded it to the people that needed to get this email or needed to get this information to get it fixed. That doesn't seem like the actions of a guy who knew this stuff was going on. Or maybe it was like, uh-oh, somebody else knows. I better jump out in front of this. I don't know what all this is. If he didn't know, good on this head coach. Now, maybe he should have known, but good on him for sending it to the proper people to get it taken care of. I feel like this is just well, you guys hired him, and the basketball program sucks. You're 8-23, so we're going to go ahead and clean house. And this was their excuse to get everyone. Maybe we can fire with cause. We won't have to pay this guy a buyout. I don't know if there's a buyout, though, at California State University. But if this coach truly didn't know, good job on him of sending this. Because we know in the past, There have been college programs that have tried to hide things like this.
Really, Baker? I'm trying to think of one in specific. Has there been something that's happened recently where a team has hidden a bunch of scandals in a row, maybe a couple in a short amount of time?
Well, Penn State hit a big one for a while, it seems like. So
I was thinking about that team up north. Maybe they've hidden a couple of things. I can't be too sure. But yeah, I would say this is definitely a thing. And the hard part too is for the administration. If you look down at your program, they're not good. You can't be sure if the coach knew about it before, if he was even involved in it. It's hard to say. But the hard part is too is there's going to be scouts and players that are going to avoid this team completely going forward now. And that's the hard part about it, is if you do retain the coach, even if he's done nothing wrong, it does keep that stain on the program to where it's almost like you have to let him go so you can start anew. And when recruits come in, you can say it's a whole new regime, whole new program, nothing's left over, and maybe you can get some people to come play. But likely for this university, the basketball team's going to struggle for a while.
Yeah, and Cal State Bakersfield is on the search for a new new basketball coach and a new athletic director. Certainly one of the more wild stories from college basketball in a while.
Pimpin' ain't easy, Reese.
Apparently not. We'll do what we learned this past week. It's been a busy one, and it looks to get busier as we go into Friday and into Saturday. That's next. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
Matty Ice is currently bathing himself in creamy jalapeno dip. And I've officially run out of ways to tease this show. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan.
Low testosterone can be a real problem for many men. It causes poor sleep patterns, decreased energy, low sex drive, and it makes it really hard to stay in shape. And as we all know, a healthy body is very important to our overall health and well-being. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if some or all of these symptoms sound like you, we can likely help you be done with low T. We can also help you lose weight, support your metabolism, improve your gains in the gym, and more with our new targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, and more. Our low T protocols, applied in conjunction with our body composition plans, will help most men see real improvements, true weight loss, higher energy, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and a renewed sex drive as well. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
What does it mean to live here, serve here in the Ohio Army National Guard?
It means I can attend college full-time and not have to take out student loans to pay for my tuition.
It means I can work my civilian job during the week and support my state and nation in times of need.
You too can live here, serve here as a member of the Ohio Army National Guard. Learn more about part-time service with full-time benefits at nationalguard.com/OH. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard in coordination with the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Say goodbye to car care headaches with Carvenience from Hinderer Motor Company. This is Justin Hinderer. For only $49, we'll pick up your vehicle, leave you with a rental, and return it fully serviced and spotless. No more juggling your schedule or wasting hours at the shop. Carvenience lets you focus on what matters while we take care of all the rest, making life easier. Schedule your service today at HindererMotorCompany.com.
Tom's Garage Doors. When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more.
I started my first business at 12 years old, mowing lawns for about $5 a yard. I thought I was crushing it until my buddy down the street undercut me by $2. But he didn't just cut the price, he cut corners too. That's when I learned if you do the job right, people trust you, and integrity beats profit. People care more about how you show up and whether you do what you say you're going to do. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Don's Garage Doors. From garage door repairs to upgrades, we show up, we crush it, and we stand behind every job. We only use the best parts, and the spring's guaranteed to last a lifetime. Because when you care about the people you serve, you work harder, and it shows. From repairs to upgrades, call Don's Garage Doors today or schedule online at donsgaragedoors.com. And yeah, we still beat the other guy.
Tom's Garage Doors. When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more.
Do you want free internet forever? Yeah, we thought so. That's why Spectrum is giving you just that. Free fiber-powered internet forever when you switch and get 4 mobile lines from Spectrum. No internet bills, no taxes, no late fees. Just fast fiber-powered internet. Call 833-901-0178 to find out how. But hurry, The steal won't last forever. Once more, 833-901-0178 or visit spectrum.com/freeforever to learn more.
I lost count of how many foster homes I lived in. 20, maybe more. Each time, a new family, a new room, but never a space that felt like mine.
There are more than 100,000 children in foster care waiting to be adopted. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is working to help find them a permanent home.
Now I have my own room and decorated it myself. And just like my family, it's mine to keep.
If you have room in your home or your heart, see how you can help at davethomasfoundation.org.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The NHL's trade deadline is today at 3 o'clock. Earlier this morning, way earlier, the Blue Jackets acquired forward Connor Garland from the Canucks in exchange for a third-round pick this year and a second-rounder in 2028. The 29-year-old Garland will likely debut for the CBJ Saturday against the Utah Mammoth. Columbus looks to extend their win streak to 4 games tomorrow night at 7. Zach Werenski, a game-time decision. He's missed the last 3 with an illness. Jackets also lost Mason Marchment with a lower body injury last night in their 4-2 win over Florida. Rick Bowness says Marchment will be reevaluated before Saturday's game against the Mammoth. In college basketball, the 11th-ranked Ohio State women's squad has Minnesota today at 2:30 in the quarterfinals of the Big Ten tournament. The OSU men's squad hosts Indiana tomorrow at 5:30, and Miami of Ohio looks for 31-0 tonight in Athens. The 19th-ranked Redhawks battle Ohio University at 9 o'clock. This update is sponsored by Eco Plumbers. Get $500 in free repairs when you buy a new water heater. Visit geteco.com and book today.
Connect with the show on X at 971BFS. Jump in our YouTube chat or just send a raven. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Oh, yes, you are. Busy Friday. Been a busy week. Been a busy couple weeks, actually, and it only looks to get busier. Over the past 4.5, now trending into 5 days, we've learned quite a bit.
We're not trying to do too much around here, but over the course of 5 days, you might have gleaned some stuff. Bishop and Friends present What We've Learned This Week.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery Co. Make a reservation today at highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
Now we're going to glean about Ohio State spring football a little bit more for Monday, coming up at 11:30 today. Doug Lesmerises will join us, as he does every Friday. But Ryan Day is going to kick off spring ball Monday morning at practice, and then he'll have a press conference Monday around 11. So we will carry Ryan Day's comments live on the fan when he hits the podium. And then practice number 2 of the spring for the Buckeyes will be on Thursday. They'll have Julian Sayin and Kenyatta Jackson available, and so we'll have comments from them maybe around this time next week. But, Bake, I think the biggest thing for today, as you heard in the update, the trade deadline at 3 o'clock, and the Blue Jackets have made 2 moves this season. Mason Marchment, who will be probably a game-time decision tomorrow against the Mammoth, but then Connor Garland, the acquisition of him for 2 draft picks last night. I think we're learning that the Blue Jackets are making a run at this thing. Now, they are 1 point out of a wild card spot thanks to their win last night over the Florida Panthers. They put Florida into the Hall of Pain. Mark Henry lighting the cannon for the CBJ at Nationwide because the Arnold's in town this weekend. But everything else went the way for the Blue Jackets. And kudos to Don Waddell for noticing that and saying, we've got to make a run. Let's go.
It's kind of hard to imagine where this team is after firing their head coach. But yeah, 14-2-1 in their last 17, and that includes the last game under Dean Evison. That's a 29 out of a possible 34 points that you've gotten. And you've gotten yourself from the doldrums of the Eastern Conference to 1 point out of a playoff spot. Right now, 3 points away from the third seed in the actually the second seed in the Metro, third, because the Penguins and the Islanders are both tied with 75. And the Islanders, you have 2 games in hand on. We talked about this, and I was very conflicted as a Jackets fan because you want to get into the playoffs. You want to be a team that can contend, but then you see the prices this week that guys were getting for their players. A second-round pick for a fourth liner, a first and a fifth for a defensive first forward, and you thought, man, what could the Jackets get for a Boone Jenner, for a Charlie Coyle, for a Mason Marchment. I'm glad we don't have to figure this out. And I said then, I need the Jackets to go get a 30-goal scorer. They did not get a 30-goal scorer last night, but they got a 20-goal scorer in Connor Garland. And to me, that signals you're going to make a run. So to me, that signals more moves coming today. And I hope there are more moves for this Jackets team because Bo uses the term on this show, chase the 8. I don't want to chase the 8 right now. I want to get to that second spot in the Metro, and I want to be a team that can contend for the Stanley Cup. Can this current roster do that? I don't know. They've been playing really good. Go get me another forward, hopefully one that can put the puck in the net. Go get me a defenseman, and not just any defenseman. I want a David Savard-type defenseman, if Blue Jackets remember David Savard. Just a big, hulking defenseman that will clear people from out in front of the net. I think that's one area the Jackets need to be better is their physicality in front of their goaltender. Go get me those moves today, and let's make a daggone run at this thing.
We had Aaron Portzline of The Athletic on with us at about 9:30. If you missed that interview with him or anything else from any of these shows that we do, available on YouTube, wherever it is you get your podcasting. But we'd asked him about a player a likely player to be involved with the Blue Jackets this afternoon and a really big fish in the NHL. And he threw out Nick Foligno for the Blue Jackets. He threw out Brady Tkachuk of the Ottawa Senators for a
not
team.
For the Blue Jackets, just to be on the move today.
But,
wow.
A man can dream, right? Because I joked a couple years ago about Johnny Gaudreau and thinking him, Nazem Kadri, like the Blue Jackets aren't involved in those. Not those kinds of expeditions where you're trying to get that big of a fish. Johnny Hockey picked Columbus. So why not Brady Tkachuk? Why not Columbus?
It'd be a hell of a move. It'd be a hell of a swing. And Reese, I've said all year I thought Don Waddell was going to take a big swing at the trade deadline. Then this week I started to feel that he wasn't. I started to feel that the Blue Jackets were going to stand pat. And I don't believe Connor Garland is a big swing. But that's a really nice addition to this team that's going to help really solidify their middle six. Hopefully that second line with Sean Monahan. Also, you talked about Aaron Portzline. Can be in that Kirill Marchenko role on the left wall of the second power play. You haven't had a right-hand shot over there that has been able to consistently produce on the power play on that second unit. I love the move. For a second-round pick in 2028, and a third-round pick this year, you still have a lot of assets that you can use before 3 o'clock today.
With the health of this team under consideration, obviously, if you've got Marchment, who's going to be reevaluated for a lower body injury before tomorrow's game against the Mammoth, Z's been battling an illness that's kept him out of the last 3. If they can get healthy, the job for Don Waddell was to make this team better, and I can confidently say at 11 o'clock on a Friday, a couple hours before the deadline, he has made this team better with time to spare.
Yes. For sure. And again, this is a team that has been playing really well. One of the hottest teams. I know the Tampa Bay Lightning has been really good.
They were 6-1 without Z?
Aaron Portzline did. They are 6-1 without Z this year.
That's nuts. We also have to do, we're contractually not obligated to talk some baseball. I know you are very excited about your spring training Redlegs.
Yeah, I've learned that the Reds are winning the World Series this year.
Oh, I love it.
And their last three games in Cactus League, well, not all Cactus League action, because I guess one of them was an exhibition against Team Cuba. 3 games.
Yeah, the World
Reds have
Baseball
scored
Classic
50 runs. 50 runs in their last 3. With that starting pitching, well, a little bummer about Hunter Green. Got to get an MRI on that tight elbow that we didn't get fixed that we knew about at the end of last year. But Matt McClain tearing it up in spring training. Reese Hines. Dane Myers, let's go, Isaiah.
Isaiah was with us the day I made the proclamation that the Guardians would not lose in spring training. And since I made that proclamation, 2-8, Cleveland's gone in spring training games.
Hey, they won yesterday, though.
They did. They beat the Chicago White Sox. Hang the banner, baby.
Put up 12 runs. That's pretty good. CJ Kafis, little home run action.
I saw this from Gary Pettit, SID over at Ohio State. Has a Bruce Thornton bobblehead. The first 2,000 in attendance tomorrow at the Schottenstein Center for Ohio State and Indiana get one of 2 different Bruce Thornton bobbleheads. He's 12 points away from becoming Ohio State's all-time leading scorer. The basketball Buckeyes are shooting as well as they've shot all season. They've won 2 in a row, and they are on the right side, I believe, of the tournament bubble. But it'll be a needed game out of Bruce, and what you got out of Junie last time out against Penn State. You'll need some of that tomorrow against the Hoosiers to put yourself in a good spot for the Big Ten tournament to really solidify your place into the actual big dance, not just the first 4 in Dayton.
Gosh, I hope they stay hot. You always want to win on senior day, no matter the situation you're in. You always want to send those guys out with a win, but gosh, that's going to be huge on or tomorrow night, Saturday night. You know what I just learned, Reese?
What's that?
Clint Kubiak hates Geno Smith.
Well,
hates Geno Smith.
I wouldn't look at it that way. So they're releasing him once the new league year begins.
Second year in a row, Clint Kubiak has taken a job where Geno Smith was the starting quarterback and then jettisoned him. Said, see you later.
Yeah, well, we wrote him off, or they wrote me off, and I didn't write back. And now you're starting to get the letters, aren't you, Gino? This from Adam Schefter. Next week's free agent quarterback pool is now expected to include Geno Smith and Kyler Murray, with Miami still waiting to make its move with Tua Tagovailoa. You going to put Kyler Murray and Geno Smith into the same sentence there, Shefty? Those are 2 very different valued quarterbacks. It'll be very interesting for me to see what the Colts do, because they obviously have done some cap stuff with Daniel Jones, but this is the same Indianapolis team that threw Phillip Rivers out there last season in games that were meaningful. So what's going to come in this next week with the quarterbacks is going to be wild. I also think we learned that Aaron Rodgers wants to play in 2026, will probably play in 2026, but it feels like the Steelers are, for the second year in a row, going to have to be waiting for Aaron Rodgers, which I don't think is the spot you want to be in if you're Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it feels like, and who's waiting in the wings? Will Howard. Is he ready? Hard to say, but Aaron Rodgers did the same thing last season. Then they just stalls their whole franchise. The worst place to be is in the middle. And Bake was talking about that earlier with CBJ. We don't want to be in the middle. The Steelers constantly in the middle. They can't decide if they're trying to tear down or trying to compete, and that's why we haven't seen them make a push in years. And right now, Aaron Rodgers is holding them hostage.
So the Cleveland Browns have done some more cap movement for the contract of Deshaun Watson. They got about $37.5 million now to play with next week when the league year begins. His roster, his guarantee, I think this season was 40 some odd million, and they've transferred a lot of that to bonuses. So that helps when you have billionaire owners. But I am very excited when we do a Friday show that no longer has Deshaun Watson on the Cleveland Browns roster. Matt Patricia was on with ESPN and had some words for Caleb Downs, who nobody's got any real questions about, right? We'll discuss that next. Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Joseph Senta and Dr. Barry Zeta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris, and now at their second location in Reynoldsburg, are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. They can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free healthy leg screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-426-VEIN. That's 614-426-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
It's 2026, the year you achieve your health goals. The Good Feet store wants to help. Trade in your bad feet for good feet. We want to help you walk, run, exercise, and play in comfort this year. Visit the Good Feet store on Polaris Parkway near the Polaris Mall or on Stringtown Road at Grove City.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, Go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 5.79% APR 5.82% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3RD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
Join the Fan weeknights at 6 for the Buckeye Show. And if you're asking if it's just a bunch of homers rooting for all things Ohio State, yes it is. Proud to be your flagship home of the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
What would it take for my child to only miss half a day of school for treatment?
What would it take to fund a cure for childhood cancer?
It would take all of us to come together to support the research. Join us. Go to childrenscancer.org today.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or give us a call and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Partly sunny skies and highs soaring into the mid-70s. We do have an isolated chance of showers and thunderstorms, though, in the afternoon. Otherwise, we remain mainly dry as we go into tonight. Partly cloudy skies, breezy winds, and lows in the 60s. Saturday, we do have a chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon with breezy winds, some which could be on the stronger side. Otherwise, we'll have partly cloudy skies and highs in the mid to low 70s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Federal Elite Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Our top men are working on everything except this show.
We have top men working on it right now. Who? Top men.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
We were just visited by a top man, Matty Ice Hayes.
It doesn't get any more top than that.
He and Rothman are coming up at noon. We got this from John Rothstein about Ohio State's Brandon Knoll, who's been out with a foot injury since January 5th. He's now being listed as day-to-day per Jake Diebler. So that was something, I think, when Knoll was out with that foot injury at the beginning of the year, beginning of the calendar year, I should say, that they had hoped that he would come back before the end of the regular season. Well, the regular season ends tomorrow in a game against Indiana, and a game you can hear right here on The Fan with coverage at 4:30, and a game that they will honor Bruce Thornton at Senior Day. First 2,000 fans get a really cool bobblehead. I don't usually want 4 bobbleheads, but I would love to have a Bruce Thornton bobblehead. We need some stuff in this studio. I think that would look good on this desk.
Our walls are bare now.
Yeah. But just some, and we don't need a ton of things, but just 1 or 2. And I think for Bruce especially, 4-time captain of Ohio State, looks to lead this team into March. That's all you can ask for, right?
Yeah. And I would take a Bruce bobblehead. I know most people don't think I love or like Bruce Thornton. I do like Bruce Thornton.
It's tough.
There's limitations, but you can still accept those limitations and be a fan. And I have said, if Bruce helps get this team, and I think Junie Mobley has been awesome here down the stretch, and the whole team's playing better. But if Bruce can help drag this team into the tournament here, maybe he can crack my top 10. Well, maybe he can get there.
We had been saying it since the beginning of the season that it can't be Bruce Thornton as your best player every night. And over the last 2 games for Ohio State, who's it been?
Junie Mobley's been very good.
It's had to be a Bruce and then you've seen in games where it's just Bruce, and it's not enough. And so for Ohio State to truly get off the bubble, to truly get out of playing in the first 4, you're going to need Junie. You're going to need Amari Bynum to come along. If you can sprinkle in some Brandon Knoll tomorrow to have him ready for the Big Ten tournament, I'll say this. For the Buckeyes right now, An 8 seed, a 9 seed doesn't really matter there. But if you can play on Friday, whether if it's you're playing the top seed in Michigan, if the Buckeyes find themselves at the United Center next Friday playing a game, they're in the NCAA tournament and not just the first 4 play-in games. Right now, I do think they're in. They could do some more good for themselves to secure a better playoff or better postseason spot, I should say. But yeah, 5 o'clock, 5:30. Tip tomorrow at the Shot. 4:30. We'll have pregame coverage right here on the Fan. The Ohio State women's squad has Minnesota today in the Big Ten quarterfinals. That's at the Gainbridge Fieldhouse over in Indianapolis. The tip-off there is 2:30. Tyler Danberg's going to have the pregame coverage over on the Fan 2, 1460 on the AM dial at 2:10.
Last time the Ohio State women's basketball team played Minnesota, they lost. So there's probably going to be a little revenge factor, I think, here. And, man, they were awesome yesterday against Indiana. Mm-hmm. They just completely wiped Indiana out. This is a Buckeye basketball team, the women's basketball team, not just this year, but in the past few years. They have been a really, really good basketball team, right there on the edge of the top 10. But those top echelon teams, upper echelon teams in the country, they haven't been able to get by. They did get a couple top 10 wins this year. I remember Maryland at one point was, I think, ranked 8th when they beat them. There was another one they got. But when they played UCLA, they got handled pretty easily. This is a team that's been knocking on the door there, and I know they had the Elite 8 run with J.C. Sheldon. And her name just escaped me. Taylor Mikesell, who could shoot the ball very well. They've had that one Elite 8 run, but it seems like when they get there into the tournament, the little further they go, it'd be nice if they can get a run here in the Big Ten tournament and get to maybe this championship game and really give them some confidence heading into the NCAA tournament. And I would love to see this woman's team. Jelani Cambridge is great. Make an Elite 8 run this year.
Yeah, you're about 40 minutes out from the start of the quarterfinals. You have the aforementioned UCLA Bruins taking on Washington at noon, and then the Buckeyes and the Gophers, 2:30. Iowa, Illinois, Michigan, Oregon are your other games tonight. Again, that's over in Gainbridge Fieldhouse. The men's tournament starts next week. That'll be at the United Center in Chicago. So we had the NFL Scouting Combine last week, and there was the weird news that Caleb Downs had something with his knee, that there was a degenerative issue that someone was worried about. And I don't think it's much more than someone.
Smells fishy.
Because there's just not enough people out there that echoed that sort of sentiment. That was something you heard about post-Combine. It was something that wasn't even around when the thing was going on in Indianapolis. And so it just adds to the point that I make where it's all silly. It for the most, everything but the on-field workouts, the 40 times, that stuff can help. But I don't think in any world does it ever crush your draft prospects. Like it can be like a Sonny Styles thing where we all knew, and the tape shows how great of a football player he is, how much of a freak athlete he is. But then for him to go and show out the way he did with an incredible 40 time, with an insane vertical jump, those will just help him. And he's already one of the top defensive prospects in the draft. Now, Caleb Downs, similarly, you look at the tape, that's all you really need to see. Matt Patricia was a guest on Peter Schrager's podcast earlier this week, and Ohio State's defensive coordinator had understandably high praise for Downs.
He's going to be the smartest player in the draft. He is the face of the franchise. As great of a football player is, he's a better human being. He wants to learn. He's always trying to make himself better. He is like having a coach on the field. He sees it just like you see it. It's in front of him all the time. So he can move those chess pieces around just like you can. And a lot of times it's great. We'd be in games and I'd be thinking something. I'd be like, hey, I'm kind of thinking. He's like, I'm already with you.
You would go to him for counsel.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to rely on the players. I don't play. Like, I mean, it's great for me to look out there and say, hey, let's do this, but I'm not out there. That's no good. He has that in-game ability to adjust just like a coach. So, I mean, again, when you're talking about stepping it up to the next level, a guy with the skill set that can play in the box, has great run instincts, can blitz, can cover, can play man-to-man, played in the deep part of the field. I mean, he picked up the ball from the line of scrimmage. You know how hard that is? You're in the line of scrimmage, you drop out, jumps up, grabs it. Just that sort of dynamic playmaking ability is what he has.
So much of what I love Matt Patricia has brought to this defense, for me, it's been the energy, and you can hear it in how he just described Caleb there. And every time he gets a chance to speak, he's just so full of energy. And I do hope you're not going to get the same kind of spark, I think, with Arthur Smith. I don't know he's that kind of a magnanimous personality, but boy, if you can have the similar success defensively on the offensive side, almost as immediate when Patricia came in with Arthur Smith in this offense, this Ohio State team's going to find themselves back in a college football national championship game. I am for Ohio State's defense as they get spring ball started on Monday. How Caleb Downs' role and responsibility is going to be divvied up amongst the players in the secondary for the Buckeyes, who went out and got three players out of the transfer portal. You can't one-to-one Caleb Downs, but you can kind of piecemeal his impact as best as you can, and that's the ask at least.
And I don't even know if you can piecemeal. I think you just scheme, right? I think you're going to have a different scheme because you're not going to have somebody back there that could do all the things that Caleb Downs do, or as Matt Patricia talks about in that cut, already thinking what Matt Patricia wants to do
right
before you even get there. We talked about Mike Mayock, and he seems to be the only one that's really down on Caleb Downs. And I don't know if he was really down. He didn't think there was any upside there to draft him in the top 10, and I think that's crazy. And I think we have a proven track record with Mike Mayock that says you don't necessarily listen to him. But when I hear Matt Patricia,
track record's not great.
When I hear Matt Patricia saying those things, think of all of the really smart defensive football players and coaches that Matt Patricia has been around, and his time just at New England, let alone in Detroit and other places he's been and whatnot. And for him to say that stuff about Caleb Downs, he didn't just say that Caleb Downs was going to be a good player. He didn't say Caleb Downs was going to be a great player. He said that Caleb Downs is going to walk in and be your franchise. That is some pretty impressive stuff from a guy who has been around one of the best franchises we have ever seen in the National Football League.
I mean, 3 total NFL franchises. We obviously know how things went for him in Detroit, but he was on the Eagles staff, and his time in New England was with the greatest defensive minds ever in the history of football. And for him to say that, it goes to the point that we've all been making the entire season, really. And you just watch him on the field, and if you don't even have to watch the all-22, like the Peacock tape from the Ohio game of him just directing traffic. This from Craig in the YouTube chat. I feel like the Ohio State Pro Day has so much happening and so many players showing off for scouts and coaches that the event rivals an NFL combine. I would say that's true about all the Pro Days. There's just more emphasis on those themselves than the actual combine. And I think you're going to see a similar performance from Downs. And any of those, the 11 guys that went to Indianapolis, most of them will probably do stuff at the Pro Day. If they do anything, it's for fun. But I think you're going to have a lot more NFL interest in the Pro Day because, I think Mike Tomlin just echoed a statement. Or he echoed something that a lot of NFL decision makers had. I'm going to Columbus because the best are there. It's reason developed here is printed on damn near everything.
It's crazy how the pro days have come the more important thing.
Yeah.
Some of the Buckeyes didn't work out much. They just picked and chose over at the combine, so you're going to see them. If I'm Sonny Styles, I'm not doing another damn thing. And if I'm Caleb Downs, if you want to check out my knee, that's fine. But if I'm Caleb Downs, I don't need to do anything.
Right. And
I'll tell you, I don't think Carnell Tate needs to do anything. Will he run a 40 again? Maybe, because there's been so much talk about it. I don't think Carnell Tate needs to do anything.
I mean, he's been widely known as the top prospect at the wide receiver position. I hope he doesn't run another 40 because I don't want him taken before 6. So I hope he just falls to the Browns. No one take him in the top 5. I want him in Cleveland. But also on Caleb Downs, it's funny when Matt Patricia talks about how high IQ he is at the safety position. The very first thing that makes me think of was back, I think it was 2018, when Nick Saban was talking about Minkah Fitzpatrick coming out in the NFL draft, another Alabama safety. He went top 5. He was the 5th overall pick to the Miami Dolphins. He said he was the smartest player that he'd ever coached. And when I hear Patricia talk about just the level of IQ at the safety position, how important that is, I think everyone, if Minkah Fitzpatrick was available in this draft, would be taking him top 10. There's no doubt that Caleb Downs shouldn't be going top 10.
You'll have the Pro Day in Columbus for Ohio State on Wednesday, March 25th, and the first round of the NFL Draft will be in Pittsburgh on April 23rd. In 2 minutes, we'll have Doug Lesmerises on the program. Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
At Babs R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement. As the Midwest's fastest growing 5-star bathroom remodeler, we're more than just transformations. We're a community driven by a mission to bring your dreams to life. Our installation team, part of the Babs R Us community, isn't just skilled. They're dedicated to respecting your home. Each day, they bring craftsmanship and hustle, turning your dream space, no matter the size, into reality. Together, we embrace a culture that values diversity, collaboration, and giving back. From supporting local projects to fostering a workplace where every voice is valued. Babs R Us is more than a company. It's a community of experts. We're also expanding locations to create more possibilities for homeowners across the Midwest. Wherever you are, you'll find us ready to turn your dreams into something you can see, feel, and enjoy every day. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, loan to no monthly payments. Call 380-2255 to schedule your free estimate or go to babsrus.com. Babs R Us, where dreams soak in.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Over 35 years, I've seen it all. Car crashes, work injuries, defective products, medical mistakes, lives flipped upside down in an instant. But I've also seen something else, the power of fighting back, the power of winning. Over $30 billion recovered and counting. Size matters, reputation matters, results matter. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Enjoy more ways to save at Kroger, like low prices in every aisle. And you can clip and save more with digital coupons in the Kroger app. Plus, you can earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. So it's always easy to save big. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply. See site for details.
Save on 12-pack cans of Coca-Cola or 6-packs of Pepsi or Pure Leaf Tea. Select varieties or buy 3, get 3 free with your card. Limit 12. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
10 feet tall and bulletproof isn't just a saying, it's a way of life. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Yes, you are. Reeser and Baker on the first official Friday in the month of March, drinking from a fire hose on this edition of the program. We go out now to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline to bring on Doug Lesmerises. The Bill and Doug Show on YouTube. Also get Bill and Doug on Ohio State football on Substack. Bill and Doug, OSU.substack.com. Doug, over the last 2.5 hours, I've tried to be less cynical about what's going to happen at the White House today at 4 o'clock. So I'm going to try and say, okay, they're going to get together, have a conversation, have a photo op. What actually do you think can get done with this group that saves college athletics today? Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah. Like there's no athletes there, right? There's no athletes there.
Tebow.
So, like no current college athletes, right? So, I mean, I don't know that anybody's is out of ideas, right? Is Tiger Woods going to stand up and say, "Aha! I have thought of the thing that nobody has thought of yet, and this shall save college sports." I mean, you just have to suck it up and decide that everyone's going to become business partners and share the wealth. I don't know what any group of 40 people that isn't athletes and current college administrators. I'm not sure what any outside group could come up with, no matter who they are or where they're meeting.
Doug, first of all, I want to know why you weren't invited to be a part of this at the White House this afternoon. And second, I know it's ridiculous, but do you think maybe this could be a starting point, baby steps to getting some kind of resolution?
Swords are not allowed in the White House, so that's why they didn't let me go.
It's fair.
And there I'd be swinging my sword for Northern Ball. And no, I don't. I can't imagine. I don't even know what. If they came out with a 5-point proposal of here's what we suggest you do, right? I mean, it's like the NCAA, they're waiting for Congress to act. If people come out and say, we're going to do this politically, we are going to have a political action that moves the ball forward. But it's not a political meeting. There's some politicians, but there's a lot of other kind of people. Talking about stuff I don't think is a terrible idea. Brainstorming. I've been in brainstorming sessions that come up with stuff, but it's just the will to do it. I don't know that anybody doesn't understand what needs to be done. It's just like the will to do it. And so if the government says, yes, this is what we're going to do, then that would be different. But if it's just, shooting the breeze about ideas, again, I think we all know what it takes.
Doug, who do you think bears the most responsibility in this? I'm just curious what you would think, because I say it's the coaches. I think if anything, seriously, in the sport of it, you have to get with the actual coaches who are coaching right now. But Ryan Day's kind of busy. Spring ball starts on Monday. Is it more a coaching thing, or Pete Bavak was invited to all of these things, but it feels like he's the ultimate, well, if you're going to go, you have to take your little brother. Like, who bears the ultimate responsibility, in your opinion, here?
I mean, it's probably the commissioners of the SEC and the Big Ten who have the most power and would have the ability, Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti, to sort of get together, look out for their own interests, but also say on behalf of the sport, this is what needs to be done. I think if they wanted to push the ball forward in a way that also included what's best for the Big 12 and the ACC and the G6, I think they could probably get there. But, the coaches are all concerned with winning, so they have ideas, but then they want an exception to every rule if it gets them one better player, right? And then the conference commissioners are concerned with making money. And so when you have individual people who are concerned with winning the most games and individual people who are concerned with making the most money, it turns everybody into adversaries, right? And ultimately it's the NCAA's fault because they're the one that's supposed to represent the collective, and they've completely abdicated their duties. So it starts with them. But at this point, the SEC and the Big Ten could make stuff happen, but they're a little too concerned with themselves, which I understand, but is also a problem.
Doug, we'll switch gears a little bit. You mentioned spring ball for Ohio State starts up on Monday. As we've seen from the NFL Combine and everything going on around the NFL Draft, Ohio State has some pretty talented guys they have to replace this year. Heading into spring ball, what is your biggest question mark for this Buckeye team?
Yeah, there's actually a lot of them. We'll be out there. First practice is actually Tuesday morning. They're going to let us watch an hour of practice, and we'll talk to Ryan Day on Tuesday. Bill and I always do a ranking of the top 22 Buckeyes at the end of the season, like the best players, the guys who contributed the most to winning. And by our list from the end of this past season, they're losing 6 of their top 7, right? It's everyone's list would look the same. So they are, the only guy who's back is Jeremiah Smith. We have a conversation coming out on Monday, who's going to be Ohio State's second best player in 2026? And it's not that there's not going to be one, but there's just enough questions. I think there's a lot of talent at the middle of this roster. A lot of the transfers that they added are, good, solid football players. But I think you're always wondering, who's the next guy who is already here who's really going to pop? Is it Jalen McClain at safety? Is it Edric Houston on the defensive line? And so that's kind of what I'm the most curious about when we watch, these 15 practices in the spring, who is emerging as a guy who's been a good player but now looks like the next superstar, right? Is Austin Sarabell just throwing people around on the offensive line, right? Does Jermaine Matthews look like an All-American candidate? And they have a lot of good, solid players, but I'm really curious about who's going to pop.
Doug, Tim May said that he got to talk with Arthur Smith off the record the other day, but didn't actually provide us with what he and Arthur Smith talked about. I'm assuming at some point over this 5-6 weeks of spring, you're going to have Ohio State's new offensive coordinator available. What's the first thing you'd like to hear from Arthur?
His plan for helping Julian Sayin take the next step. When he watched, if Arthur Smith, you went back and watched film on Julian Sayin, what did you think? And then what do you think is next for Julian Sayin? Because, I think naturally as people are what do you mean who's the second best player on the team going to be? It's going to be Julian Sayin. He has a chance to be, we were running, all the quarterbacks in college football. Julian Sayin absolutely has a chance to be the best quarterback in college football this year. So, that's a reality. But, how does he get there? So I'd be very curious to hear Arthur Smith talk about that.
Yeah, and we're also talking just earlier in the show about Julian, and he'll never be Will Howard. At least we don't think he's got that kind of a magnanimous leadership about him. But he's got to be the leader of this offense if he's going to be, as quarterback of Ohio State. How do you see that kind of evolving, or if at all, over the spring?
Yeah, I think he's got some swagger in there, right? And I think he really, like your first-year starting quarterback, you just want to make sure you don't make killer mistakes, and he did make a couple of those late in the year, like they hurt Ohio State. But, like, he's got, my partner Bill Landis keeps saying, like, he's got some gunslinger in him, right? And so I think you could start to see it. And I also think the combination of 4 starters back on the offensive line that, like, Sayin and that line together, like Luke Montgomery will have even more of an edge, and Saraveld and Phillip Daniels and Carson Hinsman. I think they as a group have a chance to be like, let's roll. And then, by the way, Jeremiah Smith is arguably the best player in college football. So Sayin doesn't have to do it alone, but I think there's a chance that really coalesces, and I think he's got some of that stuff in there if he wants to let it go, and I think he will.
A little bit ago, Doug, you talked about a bunch of those guys, the question marks. Who's going to step up? Who's going to do that? Who is one guy that you kind of have a feeling about as we head into spring that is going to really step up and solidify his role with his team, and we're all going to be talking about them come April 18th? Yeah, I mean, I think it's possible Jalen McClain sort of slides into the Caleb Downs type of role at safety, which is a little closer to the line of scrimmage, a little more playmaking. McClain was the free safety last year most of the time, kind of playing center field. Caleb Downs even talked at the combine that, like, Jalen McClain had to defer to him a little bit. And so I think maybe you bring in Terry Moore from Duke. Maybe he's more the center fielder. Now Jalen McClain's down making plays. I think that's possible. And Arvell Reese is like, we always ask guys at the combine, what do you think of the guys coming up? And Arvell Reese said, Peyton Pierce is an animal. And so, like, Peyton Pierce was a good, solid linebacker as a third linebacker last year. Like, what if Peyton Pierce is running around, like, looking like a real dude who's going to be blowing up people in the run game and that kind of thing? I think that's possible. It's like they're just like some real good candidates, as always at Ohio State, to go from good to great. But I think I'd put McClain and Pierce at the top of that list.
Yeah, a lot of opportunity, a lot of fun to be had starting next Tuesday. The Bill and Doug Show on YouTube, BillandDougOSU.substack.com. He is Doug Lesmerises, as always, on a Friday. Doug, thanks so much for the time, bud. Enjoy the weekend.
Thanks, fellas. All right, talk to you later.
And he joins us courtesy of the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We will do 3 things on a Friday next. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
We're known for 3 things: games, conversation, and common man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Staples has hot deals and low prices on everything for your business, like up to $125 off your print order. Ends 4/18. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Dr. Mark Levy can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring. Sleep better. Live better.
College is great. You know what else is great? Pizza, which you can buy with your Huntington Bank debit card with the Ohio State University logo. Huntington Bank is proud to be the official consumer bank of the Ohio State University. Let's get more from money. Switch to Huntington Bank. Welcome.
Hey folks, it's Austin Ward here. The new weight loss meds are having results, but what happens after you stop taking them? I didn't want to rent my results. I wanted to own them, to keep the weight off. I chose the medication-free solution for weight loss, Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Veterans and active duty service members. When your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe insurance should adjust to fit your needs. That's why our agents work with you to design an auto, home, and life insurance plan that's particular to you. Insurance that fits just right. And Shelter is known for our award-winning customer service, satisfied customers, and a plan for you. Isn't it time to check Shelter out? Find an agent near you at shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
He's a husband, a dad, owner of a gym. He's also a police officer. Staying strong and pain-free isn't optional. It's safety. That's why David Boardman's a QC Kinetics patient.
My job is dependent on my physical ability and my physical fitness so that I can protect myself, so that I can go home safe to my family at the end of the night.
But severe knee pain nearly took that away. Doctors said surgery, shut down the workouts. David needed another option. That was QC Kinetics. They told him,
we're going to give you the opportunity to have not one, but 2 healthy knees, and we don't have to cut you open.
They used David's own healing tools in his blood to help restore his knees. Regenerative treatments right in the office.
Since I've gone to them, I run 20, 30 miles a week.
Trust the team helping active people avoid surgery. Call QC Kinetics today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
The Buckeyes are back at the shot for a Big Ten battle with Indiana.
Live fan coverage starts Saturday at 4:30 with the tip at 5:30.
Every game, every season, proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan. Ohio sports destination.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Listen up. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Dr. Mark Levy's been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results. And now he has an office in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Listen to Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles this Saturday morning at 9 on 1460 AM, covering topics like what you need to know about annuities and how to stay healthy and enjoy retirement. Financially Fit Radio this Saturday morning at 9 on 1460 AM.
Common Man and Bob Capace here for Worthington Jewelers. Bobby, it's bridal sale time.
Our annual spring bridal sale is March 10th through the 21st. Buy one and get one 50% off on all bridal jewelry.
And don't miss the weekend trunk shows featuring the latest styles from the top designers. And Bobby, if custom is the choice, you're the man for that.
Absolutely. Let us make the ring of your dreams.
Check out our custom ring builder at worthingtonjewelers.com, where Columbus gets engaged.
The Fan Poll is sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub, home of award-winning pizza and 32-ounce Yingling drafts for only $4. The perfect show for quarter zips and khaki shorts. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Yes, you are. Reeser Baker and Isaiah with you for the next however many minutes until we hand things off to Rothman and Ice. We think Bo will be back Monday.
No, it is Bo.
Oh, it is Bo. Okay, he returns from the fog. Him and Beams are out there for Kansas State. The game will be tomorrow afternoon at Fog Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence. So some awesome opportunity for Bo and his son. Probably a great time that'll be had, and it'll be awesome to hear him tell us about that on Monday. Just real quick from the Department of Corrections, I think I had said earlier in the program that Ohio State starts spring ball on Monday. And I might have said it a couple times.
I believe I said it too.
It's Tuesday.
Officially Tuesday.
So
Ryan Day presser Monday.
Is that Monday? Do we see?
What the
no, I have
said.
no more confidence in what's going on with that. But we'll double check those things in a second because I do have to give you the daily fan poll, sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub. Bruce Thornton is 12 points away from becoming Ohio State's all-time leading scorer. Do you think he breaks the record tomorrow against Indiana? Your 3 options to the daily fan poll, sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub. Yes in the first half, yes in the second half, not until the Big Ten tournament. 68% of you say yes, he'll break it tomorrow in the second half of the game against the Hoosiers. 30% say yes in the first half, and then just a couple, not until the Big Ten tournament.
I think it's the first half. I think you're going to have a lot of emotion in that building.
Yeah.
And I think the Buckeyes need to get off to a fast start. I think it's going to be the first half.
I hope it's the first half. It would be better for the Buckeyes, getting that rolling quick.
And it is Tuesday, by the way. It is Tuesday.
For practice number 1 for Ohio State. Tuesday, Ryan Day press conference. Post-practice at approximately 11 in the morning.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
First thing out of me, I've been holding this for a couple of days only because my clock management has been poor. But we're doing The Pit on HBO about a medical center in Pittsburgh. It's tremendously acted. It's got a couple of guys that worked on ER, and so the writing's all medically sound. But they really lay it on to let you know, the viewer, that it's located in Pittsburgh. There was a subplot of a kid who overdosed and passed away in the hospital and then was going to donate his organs. And they did an honor walk for him. And it's a very emotional show. And so my girlfriend and I are watching. And as they are wheeling the deceased out of the ICU, they had on a Steelers blanket. And so it's an emotional scene. It's supposed to be really sad. And I'm trying not to crack up because it's the most blatant, like, did you know the show's in Pittsburgh? Like, we get it. You guys, like, but just put a regular hospital blanket over him. It doesn't need to be Pittsburgh, but I was laughing in a moment you absolutely should not have been laughing for.
Maybe that was the final wishes.
It's a tremendous show, but God mighty, like, we get it, you're in Pittsburgh. Like, the next season, when we just finished the first season, like, they're going to put French fries on everything just to drive that point home. Like, we're in Pittsburgh. We get it.
First thing for me, NHL trade deadline today at 3. Just see the news that Nick Foligno, I know Aaron Portzline had said maybe he would be a guy the Blue Jackets would look at bringing back. He has been traded to the Minnesota Wild, so very cool for the Foligno family that Nick and his brother Marcus are going to get to play together. I know that's something that they had always wanted to do. Columbus Blue Jackets, you have made the trade. You have brought in Connor Garland. Please do not stop there. You have decided that you're going after this by making this trade. So let's go get another guy up front that can put the puck in the net, and let's get a thumper on defense. Let's get a big guy back there that is just mean and nasty. If you go anywhere near Jet or Elvis, you are going to end up on the ice. Let's not chase the 8, guys. Let's go for the Stanley Cup. I need 2 more moves out of you today, Don Waddell. You have gotten me in because I was leaning on that line of maybe selling off these guys because they're not signed and you could bring them back and everybody's given up. It is a seller's market. But you have changed me with this Connor Garland trade. Go win the cup, or at least try, daggone it.
First thing for me, one thing I hate about the NFL draft season is the quarterbacks that start getting overvalued as we get closer and closer to the draft. And what am I seeing on Browns Twitter? Ty Simpson has begun to pop up in my timeline. And if I have to see his face on any more 6th overall tweets, I'm going to start to lose it. The reason is not only that I have never believed in Ty Simpson throughout this whole season, but also the Browns are in such a place where they need to build this roster up. We spent 2 picks last season on quarterbacks. We also spent 2 picks on running backs last season, one of which very useful. Quinshon, fantastic. Dylan Sampson was pretty solid throughout the season, but we need to build the team up if you want a quarterback to be good. Picking a quarterback in this draft would be unbelievably, ridiculously dumb. But we're talking about the Browns.
There's the but. Look, if you have 4 quarterbacks pending they get somebody in free agency, now this will become my second thing. Why not have 5 quarterbacks in a competition? Right? That's something a team that's serious would do. I don't know. The Ty Simpson thing perplexes me because throughout the beginning of the season, I looked at him as maybe a guy that if they made a run, Alabama could be in the Heisman conversation. Then they forgot about Ryan Williams, and they couldn't run the ball, and they couldn't protect him. So if he's going to go at 6, he's going to go to a team that can't run the ball well, outside of some from Quinshon, can't protect a quarterback, and doesn't have much talent. What do you think is going to happen, you idiots? But sure, no, take Simpson at 6, Browns.
I will say this, and I'm like, Ty Simpson at 6, no way. Maybe 24, I'm thinking in my head. If you draft Ty Simpson and he ends up being the guy, I'm all for it. I don't care if he is. I don't think he is. There's questions, but
just get Drew Aller if you're doing that.
Somehow maybe the quarterback curse was over.
I'm willing to completely flip on this if he's good.
I'm all in. I don't know how many of you out there remember Terry Smith, but he was Paul Keels before Paul Keels. He called Ohio State football and basketball. He's been the voice of the Los Angeles Angels since 2002. Scary situation for him. Out in Phoenix, he was driving his car and he was part of a hit-skip accident. It said somebody going upwards of 90 miles an hour rear-ended him and took off. One, I don't know how their car is drivable, and Smith walked out of this with just a thumb injury. The first cop that showed up on the scene told Smith that he was lucky to be alive. He started off his first Angels broadcast of the season saying, "We're lucky to be with you today," talking about the accident. Very happy that Terry Smith is okay in a very, very scary situation. They haven't found the driver yet.
That's terrifying, but glad he's doing okay. Our thoughts are with him.
Second thing for me, we've talked about how this is a big weekend for Columbus. Another thing that hasn't been mentioned yet, and I will be there tomorrow, the 6th-ranked Ohio State lacrosse team, still undefeated, taking on number 1 Notre Dame, also undefeated. Huge game there at their new facility. I'll be over there at 2 p.m. rooting on the Buckeyes, but you want to talk about a team that hasn't been talked about enough. This lacrosse team at Ohio State has the highest odds outside of Ohio State's football team to win the national championship right now on FanDuel. So go ahead and check them out.
Number 1 UCLA in baseball in town this weekend, too.
So you got those two things. You've got Ohio State men's hoops to look forward to. You've got the Blue Jackets. A happy Christmas to all who celebrate. I got this from loyal listener Z. He sent a direct message to us. Hey, friends, I'm a nurse here in Columbus doing dialysis. You have no idea how many patients bring their favorite team's blankets to the hospital. And while I understand that's a valid point, I mostly make the point that you didn't have to do that. He might have been a Steelers fan in the show, but just the constant driving home the point that, oh, we're in Pittsburgh. Just at a moment you should not have been laughing, I was cracking up. Like I was laughing out loud. And that's not the point of the pit, which is a great show, and I would recommend all of you.
Final thing for me, we've talked about, this time of year is always the best time of year. I've always loved March Madness, but you've got high school seasons coming to an end and tournament season. You've got NHL and NBA kind of heading towards the end of their season. Baseball is getting started. If you're into auto racing, NASCAR and that stuff is getting started as well. It is just these next couple of weeks here remind me that, and I know a lot of people love September and October with the NFL starting up and all of that. I believe March, in the end of March, like the last couple of weeks of March, the very beginning of April, is the best sports time of the year.
Final thing for me here. Lady Bucks coming on today around 2:30. Let's see if they can push past Minnesota, who beat them earlier this season, and go ahead and make a run at this thing. They've had so many years where they've been so close. Sweet 16, we saw an Elite 8 run a couple of years ago. Can they finally get it?
A lot going on in the capital city this weekend. Everybody be safe. Everybody be patient. Extra patient out there. We'll see you back on Monday with Bo, with the friends on The Fan.
Matty Ice has a large tattoo on his calf of LeBron eating a lion. I have nothing else to say. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon